Hello.
Hi, I was wondering if I could get a ride to the prison from Infinity Apartments.
Aye, what's your state ID?
Alright, it's 19936.
You're not a cop, are you?
No, I'm not a cop.
Anna.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll collect you. You're going to the prison.
Yeah, awesome, thanks.
I'm just here, actually. Where are you? Are you at the back or the front?
I can, yeah, I'm
I'm
just
at
in the building still.
car park.
Okay,
I am
yeah.
at near the red garage, okay? You'll see a big taxi.
Yeah, I'll be out there soon.
Oh, thank you. I have 3 of these, but I always like meal vouchers. Taxi.
Hi, you Cara? Yeah, I'm Anna.
I'm Cara.
I'm Max, hello.
Hi, nice to meet you. Glad there's
What
finally
are
a
you
taxi
doing at the
around.
prison?
Sorry?
What are you going to do at the prison?
I'm, DOC. Yeah, I'm going to be helping out there. Well, yeah, I've got a shift, I guess.
The court case.
Yeah, court case stuff.
I think Boomerang's working right now, so I think Chad is there. I seen on my phone. Chad and Boomerang. I don't know who Quinn is.
Yeah, I think she's one of the new cadets.
Oh.
Well, I'm Max McIntyre. I'll be going to your place of business quite often.
Seems like a lot of people say that here.
Oh, I doubt there's very few who go up there as often as I do.
Really?
I knew
Okay.
somebody who used to.
It's probably, who would you say goes to jail the most, Kara? Me, probably Sammy.
Me.
Who else?
Well, before, I'm doing really well. I'm doing really, really well.
I really do feel like your current paperwork has destroyed our friendship, though. Well, that your face and personality.
I don't know what the fuck you just said to me there.
Oh, don't worry about it. It was something super kind.
That's disgusting.
You're disgusting.
Thank you. So what's your favourite thing about DOC? I haven't seen you work there yet. Have you met me before?
I've only been working there a couple of weeks. I've just been doing a few training sessions, so yeah, you wouldn't have seen me around much.
Oh, you're a cadoodle, are you?
Yeah, I guess so, if that means cadet.
Aye, that's what... What do you mean if that means cadet? I just said cadoodle. Like, what else is it going to mean?
I don't know. I just haven't heard that term before.
It could be a Canadian who likes to draw.
True.
A cadoodler?
Are you a cadoodler, Max?
Yeah, I am. I'll cadoodle my foot right up your ass.
I'll cadoodle your fucking neck.
You couldn't cadoodle in a rainstorm of crayons.
Here you go.
Alright, thanks. Yeah, so I haven't caught a taxi before. How does the charge work?
Basically, I'll give you my...
She works on tips.
There you go. I work on tips. If you have the money, pay me. If you don't. It's good.
Yeah.
The government's funding me to taxi.
Okay, no worries, thanks.
Did you get my details?
Well, here's the other thing. You can not tip her,
got
and
it.
next time I come to jail, you can give me a taser.
Actually, can you do me one favour?
Yeah.
You know there's an essay in there?
Yeah.
Aye, can you just make sure that the fucking deputy warden doesn't put a cowboy hat on it, please? At the moment, it's off it, because I have connections in there, but she keeps putting a brand new fucking cowboy hat on Nessie, and Scotland's crying over it. It's no funny.
Right, so
Okay.
you don't like the cowboy hat?
It's making Scotland cry.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
I just keep an eye. You don't have to. She's not listening, so I'll talk to Jay. I'll piss Jay off eventually that she'll do it, but you know. Just make sure it
Okay,
stays off.
no worries. Okay, yeah, thanks for the ride. I'll send you a tip.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Anna, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm just out of the prison now. Is it okay to sign in on duty now?
Yeah. Go ahead, sign in, and we are standing in the yard.
Yeah, all right, no worries.
All right.
Oops. Charlie 33, 1041.
Welcome aboard.
Shall I meet you in the yard?
Yeah, firm. If you need to get any gear, just grab the gear and then come meet us in the yard.
10-4.
Certainly can. Hello.
Hi.
Wait, why do you need a knife?
To cut. I've got a loaf of bread that's not cut into slices.
Oh my god, can I get a
Mm.
slice when you get that knife?
Wait, what kind
Color
of bread?
176
whole
LSSD for the phone. 10
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, wait.
What kind of bread?
Oh, whole wheat.
Oh, ew.
No.
Yeah.
Whole wheats? Is that your favorite or is that just what you have?
That's just what we were able to concoct with that.
Well, you know
Oh,
what? If
yeah.
wait, if I get you guys banana seeds, what you can do is you can make some banana bread.
What?
Yeah,
But I would
make some banana bread.
still need a knife to cut it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, you could always get a brick and shave it down like that one inmate did.
Oh no.
Yeah, but then you're gonna get brick dust all over your bread, and isn't that
Yeah.
poisonous?
Yeah, I mean, listen, look around you, okay? Look around you. What do you see? Nothing but dust. And do you think this dust just stays down? No, it blows everywhere. It's probably like your lungs are probably like 15% full of fucking dust.
Yeah, but isn't brick dust like chemicals? You know, this is
Right,
just like natural dust.
Listen. What part of the state are we in right now?
I no clue.
We're-
Los
we're in-
Santos. I don't know.
We're,
I didn't
we're
go to
in the
school.
we're in the north, and you got the what used to be the Alamo Sea up over that way, which was a cesspool to begin with. Think about all that dirt blowing up over here.
It's very salty.
Hmm. And then also think all the garbage, and there's probably a bunch of waste. You know, even some of the radioactive fallout's probably still inside there somewhere.
I
Yes,
just
there's, like,
don't think
old
you
fish
should.
poop.
I just don't think you should cook bread with a brick. That's my personal opinion. I think you just
Okay,
need
yeah.
proper stainless steel.
Mm. I mean, you know what? To be fair, when I was in Afghanistan, we actually made an oven out of shit dust, pretty much.
Wow.
What?
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, what? You made an oven out of shit dust?
Well, you know, because
Might want to rephrase that, Tim.
everything over there is pretty much shit, and it all just floats around everywhere. So yeah, we turned it into mud. We made a little oven out of it, and that's what when we got some fresh food, that's what we'd cook it in sometimes.
Mud?
Hmm.
Well, shit mud, apparently. That
Yeah,
sounds
shit mud.
horrendous.
That
Shit
sounds.
mud.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah, at least I wasn't one of the people that actually fell into like a sewage ditch. That was ugh.
Oh.
Yeah, that was disgusting. That guy, yeah, especially when you don't have showers readily available.
Ugh.
Yeah, that guy was not very happy.
Can we talk about something other than shit dust?
Like a couch. Kind of
Swear to
walked right into
fucking
that
God.
one.
Swear to fucking God.
Hey Jasper, have you ever met Castle?
The DOC castle?
Yeah, the DOC Castle.
Yes. I've
Oh,
been
okay.
here for fucking ever, yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, no big reason at all, but yeah, it's okay. Are you
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Lottie?
I'm Anna, by the
I'm
way. I'm new.
great.
Yes. Sorry. Actually, yeah, how about the both of you introduce yourselves to the room, or we can even
Yeah.
do a little
Oh.
circle thing here.
Are
Little
we doing
circle
like an
jerk.
A meeting?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Quinn.
Hi, Quinn.
Oh, hey, Quinn.
Hi, Quinn.
I feel like I just met you like 5 minutes ago, but hey.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Fun fact about me. I love building sandcastles
Out of shit dust.
out of shit dust, specifically.
Wow.
Nice.
God, you're so cool.
What are you in here for?
I work here, actually. Surprisingly, yeah. I know it doesn't look like it, but I do work here. Blend
Alright.
right in.
Riveting.
All right, Lottie.
Wait, why am I up? I don't have anything to say. I'm Lottie. Hi, bye.
Wow.
Nice.
But I don't have
wait,
any fun facts
okay.
about me.
Well, do you want me to add fun facts about you?
No, let's
Okay,
not do
yes.
that,
Okay,
Tim.
then
no.
let's hear your fun fact. I just want one fun fact from you.
I don't. I don't have any.
Okay, how about why are you in here?
I blooded out a gang member, and the knife hit his heart. And then I tortured the snitch who snitched on us, who seen him.
Okay.
It's not a fun fact. It's kind of a depressing fact, but all right.
Well, that sounds like he deserved it.
He did. Thank you so much. Sorry. But yeah, he did deserve it. Deserve the fuck
Oh.
out of it.
Well, I mean, what's that saying? Snitches get stitches. I mean, he did get stitches though, did he?
He did. They had to stitch up Snitch that we carved into his arm.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Are you an artist?
I am, and it was some of my
Well,
best
you see, that's an
work.
interesting fact. You could have just said I'm a fucking artist.
Well, I'm not. I can't really draw a stick man, but you know, pop off.
All right, next.
Am I next?
Yes.
Oh,
I can't remember. Is it James or Mark?
whichever you want. But let's
feel
go
like
with
it's
Mark.
neither of those.
It
Yeah.
is. It's one of them. It's definitely one of
Yeah.
them.
I just wait. No, Mark was wearing the full T-shirt, wasn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna shut up now.
James. Pop off.
God damn it.
This is Mark, by the way.
I'm Mark. Hello.
Fun fact.
Is
Do
there-
you
is
want
there
me
more?
to tell them?
Yeah,
Do
fun
you want me to
fact.
tell them the fun fact? Got
Oh.
you. Don't worry.
Okay.
He gets no bitches.
That's
Amazing.
a
remember
really
that.
fun fact.
I remember that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Zero.
Yeah, we
guy.
had that conversation a lot. I don't understand why.
Not a single bitch in sight. It's okay though. I got you. All right.
Thank you, I guess.
All right, next.
Can we move on? Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Anna. Fun fact, I guess. I do singing and play guitar.
Nice.
Oh,
What kind of like what genre do you like specifically like to sing and play?
But Celine,
bet
I
it's
do a bit of a mix.
country.
What? Yeah, not that. Yeah, I suppose I'm more into indie, alternative
shit.
type music.
Nice.
Okay. Oh my god, you know what? We need to get her to come in to sing and play guitar and have Steve dance.
Steve likes Dancing Queen. I don't like that.
I mean, was it the song or was it what he said afterwards?
The song and then what he said afterwards kind of hurt my soul.
Yeah,
Yeah, that wasn't great.
He called them the Vespucci Queens.
No.
Oh.
He said shout out to the Vespucci Queens.
Oh, shout
Oh,
out to the
no.
Vespucci Queens.
But in his defense, he thought we was friends. So.
I guess Tim, right? And I am from north of the wall.
Oh,
North
like
of the
boot
wall?
and a boot.
Yeah, new dude booted
Boot and a boot, and there's a moose in the rood.
You can really hear it when I say things like car and
I
house.
heard it earlier, and I was like, he sounds
Yeah.
like a northerner.
Mm-hmm.
That means Canadian, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much for telling me that.
You could have told me too. I had no idea what you guys
Oh,
were talking about.
Oh,
I got you. Hold on. That means Canadian, by the way.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pick up my favorite rock over here.
I feel like we're playing like
Chinese whispers. I love that game.
all right, Jasper, your turn.
Well, I can't go now. The circle's broken.
Yeah, it has to wait.
no, we gotta.
Oh, okay.
We can make like a square with a
Yeah.
point.
Oh, yeah.
Like a
yeah.
star.
Yeah, but
What
then-
about like a
Star.
star?
But
Yes.
then-
Yeah,
Star.
Mark,
there we go.
Mark
Oh,
James
Well,
isn't even gonna know what I'm in here for.
Oh, he's back. He's back. Look, he's
Come
back.
back.
Come back.
We
We
gotta
have
make the
finished
circle again. Somebody's hungry.
I think that's me. Ernesto's not
Me
cutting
too,
it.
me too.
I'm back.
Okay. I'm Jasper.
Hi, Jasper. Guys, you're supposed to.
Hey. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
All
Oh,
at the
sorry.
same
yeah.
time.
So that's right. It's a.
I'm a raging alcoholic.
Oh,
Oh, I love that for you.
yeah.
That's it. That's the fun fact.
Nice.
What kind of liquor?
Okay. Fun fact for real. I'm a pathological liar. I'm not a raging alcoholic.
Wow, you fooled
Oh
me.
my god.
You doubled down on that one.
Wow. I feel like
Alright.
everyone got a fun fact except for me. I'm kind of feeling a bit FOMO.
You're an
right now.
artist.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
you're an
not.
artist.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
No, I saw the carvings.
Did you see my exclamation mark on the end too?
I
It's
did.
beautiful, right?
Yeah, it was a nice finishing touch.
Thank you so much.
Do we need to go like have a demonstration in the sands or something?
Well, do you have a knife?
Share with the class. Well, no, you can use your finger though.
Well, Jasper wants a knife, so I could just borrow it when you give Jasper one, right?
Yeah, not gonna lie,
What?
Jasper's probably the
Yeah,
last person that
no.
should have a knife.
That's. I'm not the
Yeah.
last. There's literally a serial killer in here that's about to go to trial.
Well, I
It's
mean,
true.
What,
She
what
should be
about your?
first.
Wait, what do you mean? There's 2 serial killers in here right now.
Wait, where the fuck's the other one?
It's you.
I reformed serial killer.
Oh yeah, a reformed serial killer. Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about pineapple?
Hate it unless it's fresh.
Okay, now,
What?
now
And if you
here-
put it on pizza, no. Tim,
Alright,
I swear
wait,
to God, I
wait,
will
here-
slap you
here's
with a
the-
pineapple slice.
here's the thing. Okay, if you get a pizza, you get extra cheese,
Nope.
extra pepperoni,
Nope.
with jalapeno and
Nope.
pineapple.
Oh hell
it is
no.
amazing. I don't like pineapple usually, but when you mix those two on pizza, it is fucking amazing.
No, fresh pineapple's fire. I love fresh pineapple, but when you cook it, any fruit cooked is just wrong and backward.
I have to agree with you there.
I don't even like apple pie. Apple pie stinks.
Although I also hate cooked fruit, with the exception of
Yeah.
banana and banana bread and pineapple and pizza.
Banana bread's really good. Have you ever had banana on toast?
No.
No,
Wow.
that sounds crazy.
No.
have.
Let me listen. If you put chocolate spread on the toast, like just like any kind of chocolate spread, slice the banana, put another slice of toast on the top, cut it into triangles. Wow.
Or
So
just
good.
like peanut butter if you don't like chocolate.
I'm allergic to peanut butter.
Well, yeah.
That's
you can have
unfortunate.
your chocolate.
How much commissary coins for peanut butter?
I don't know. I haven't done the commissary stuff, the training for it, so I don't know. I don't even know how the bowling bucks
gosh,
work.
Yeah, it's already closed.
I'm not gonna
probably.
lie, I probably need to learn since I'm around here as much as I am.
Someone needs to learn how to change the fucking calendar because we're a month behind.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, that's true. All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
You guys have fun.
Always going to take
Thank
a
you so
training
much.
course on the calendar.
Charlie and I is going to go 10-7 for about 2 months. All right.
What about strawberries?
If the two
I
of
love
you start
strawberries.
feeling
Dipped in chocolate?
getting a little uncomfortable or
Both.
anything,
I
just
like
make your
all
way behind
kinds
a
of
gate
ways
somewhere.
of strawberries.
Gotcha.
Strawberries. Have you guys ever had peanut butter on strawberries?
No, I'm allergic to it.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, well, yeah.
Have you ever had peanut butter on bread?
No, I'm allergic to it.
Have you ever had peanut butter on pancakes?
No, I'm allergic to it.
Have you ever had peanut butter?
Yes. And I'm
With
very
jelly.
allergic to it.
What about with jelly? Why is there? What the fuck? What am I watching?
Exercising.
He's built different. He's doing it with one arm.
All right. I'm a little concerned about why he's running, but
It's like the elderly ladies that walk with the dumbbells in their hand. He's pretty much just doing that. Oh, okay, never mind.
oh, he's on the roof. Hey, live your best
He's
life.
escaping.
Live your best life.
No,
Well,
I've never had peanut butter and jam.
And jam.
Jam.
What
Yeah,
is
that's what jelly is. Jelly is jam.
Why don't you just call it jelly?
Because it's not jelly, it's jam.
But you said the same thing.
Killer
No,
21,
'cause-
23,
No,
Bolingbroke.
because jelly it comes in like a pot, and it's like jelly. jam is like fruit
Right.
jam, you know?
Yeah, and you jam it on whatever you want to eat it on.
Well, it comes in a jam jar, you know?
Yeah, they jam it in a jar
But
and
strawberry or grape jelly?
Well, I like strawberry jam, but I like, you know, orange jelly.
Orange?
Yeah, like actual jelly, and like when you wiggle the pot, it goes.
I forgot what that's called,
like
but
with
it's not
dessert.
called jelly.
Oh, Jello.
Jello, yeah.
Oh
Chad
yeah,
and I is back 10-8.
so
For the
back
two of
home, we
you,
call it
meet me in the
jelly,
cafeteria.
and then jam, like what you put on like
10-4.
bread, is jam.
Yeah. All right.
I'll be back in 7
well,
seconds.
I will also be back, but probably not in 7 seconds.
Okay, well,
Sorry, I missed that. Did he say to meet him in the cafeteria?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to go over a couple things before tonight.
All right. We're
Hey,
having a talk about jelly.
Oh.
hey, Tim, if your equipment is looking a bit rough, like how soon should you replace it?
I would say, like, are you like below, say, 15%? Like, does it look like pretty, like really fucking rusty?
Yeah, it's a bit below that.
Okay, then I would say go and get it exchanged. You can do that once we finish up with this thing here. Quinn, what I would like you to do is with the dispatch. What I want you to do is put all of us into one group and put it as a 1091 prep, and then just put City Hall at the end of it.
All right.
I don't think we went over it at all last time, but yeah. So if you need a hand, just ask.
Oh, whoops. I got this, guys.
All right, good. You can throw chat in there as well.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, perfect. That way, just before we leave, you'll take the prep out, then you'll put City Hall, then probably just trial.
All right.
Have you guys made a card before?
I know how to, but I haven't made one.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect. If you know how about yourself, Anna? Do you know how to make a card? I think we went over it when we did the transport last time.
Yeah,
All
I think
so
maybe we
if you open up
talked
your
about it.
dispatch. So open up your dispatch.
Yep.
Now, in the top left corner, go to create call.
Okay.
Now, you're not going to actually make this, so make sure to hit cancel instead of submit. So call type will be 1091. Now that we're just going to go over it, you don't have to actually write anything in there just in case. Then for the description, that's where you're going to put the going to City Hall for, you can put in either the full on thing for the Fÿrr trial, or you could just put for City Hall for trial. And then when you look at the priority, leave it as default.
Right.
All right. All right.
Charlie 21 to all units. Here in about 10 minutes, I want us to all meet over by the transport vehicles, and we're just going to do a quick briefing before we start the transport stuff.
10-4, we were just slowly going over something like that right now. But yeah, we can do that. I'll hold off.
I mean, if we have the privacy to do it now, that's fine too.
So today what we're going to do, I'm going to drive.
What's your 20?
We're just sitting in the cafeteria right now. If you want, we can move out to the back because I already got the vehicle staged there.
You guys are fine.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello.
So I guess what have you gone over so far, Tim?
So I had Quinn update the dispatch to put us all into a thing and just put prep for the 1091. We just went
Perfect.
over making a card.
Yep.
So now when we are doing these transports, I know we already went over this, Anna, but for yourself, Quinn, if you open up, just one second, go into your MDW. Go to DOC notices. And then the very top one, inmate transport log.
Gotcha.
So right there, you can see how all that stuff is done there. So we do these for all transports we do, whether we're doing it for community service or we're going for a trial sentencing hearing or any of those kinds of things. So if you would like to, I would like you to fill that out. If you need to see what Fyrr's name is or how to spell her name, because it is all sorts of fuck.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay, good. Yeah, you can fill that out. Once you're done that, let me know, and we'll just kind of go over one more thing that has to do with the weapons.
It's not letting me type it in.
Oh, is that one of the things that you need to be a full CO to be able to do, Chad, or
For notices?
for the for putting in for the transport log.
Potentially.
Okay, all right, I'll just do that then once we finish up here. All right, if you go to DOC reports and start typing in armory, the very bottom one should say DOC armory. Go ahead and open that up. And start scrolling down on the left and you'll see how things are done. So if you scroll all the way down to the left, I created one for what we're going to be doing for today. So when everything is still blank, so it's just a white square, that means that that weapon will, pretty much be out. It hasn't been returned yet. Once the weapons get brought back in, that's when they get the blue check mark. The only person that can edit that is the person who created it, so I'll have to do that. But this is just to make sure that we're not missing any weapons or someone didn't go off duty with it. If for some reason you do need to go off duty while we are doing the trial or anything like that, make sure to hand off your weapon and the ammo to someone.
Gotcha.
So for today, Anna, I'm going to switch things up a bit from what we discussed earlier. I'm going to have Quinn pretty much standing by the witness stand, and you're going to be going over what we had talked about. Anna, let's see. Because
I'm probably gonna locate myself up in the rafters to give overhead. So
perfect. Okay, then Anna, what you can do is you can stand on the opposite end from Quinn. So you'll see there will be like actually wait, let's do it like this. So if pretty much the judge is sitting right there, Anna's going to be standing on this side over here between the door and where the witnesses go. Anna, I want you on the far side over there by where there'll be a nice little corner kind of where, I mean, you don't have to go there right now, but just for once we get in there. Because that's where the judges' chambers are. And you'll just kind of stand right there and keep an eye out, pretty much like scanning the crowd. That's the crowd itself on the ground floor. And also keep a look at the people that are up top. Big thing that I want you guys to remember is keep an eye out for that gentleman with that Twinsta post with the heavy scar on the right hand side. If you do kind of see him there, just kind of call it out over radio. Don't be yelling while you're on there, except for when you are swearing people in, Quinn. Make sure that you are talking nice and loud.
Gotcha.
But besides that, pretty much just keep yourself on a whisper. That way, if the judge is talking or someone's talking, we're not interrupting anyone.
I do need to stare at my phone for like 5 minutes because I
That's
really need to watch some funny cat videos to help boost my.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
When you're done, we'll go over the other stuff that I have. But since PD Academy is happening right now, it's going to be pretty light for security. So we're going to basically make
Yeah.
up a large chunk of that. So
Yeah, I
we got to
think
be on our toes.
I think I was told by someone today that that the docket got pushed a little bit just because the PD, so they might be finishing it up before it starts or around there. But
Potentially, yeah.
and looking
Even
at
then, it'll take them
yeah,
time to filter
yeah,
in, anyways.
that's true.
So.
And yeah, looking at the looks like we have a couple officers that might be able to attend. But yeah,
yeah. But as far as transport goes, we're probably not going to get any assistance on the actual drive. But once we're, we start going, we can let the officers that are already at City Hall know, and they'll secure the outside area where we unload.
okay.
And that's the main part that I'm worried about, anyways. Is that
yeah.
so? I'm not too.
Were you
worried
there for
about
the Allison thing,
transport.
or were you?
I
not
wasn't, but I'm very privy to it.
Okay, yeah, the stairs going down, because that's where the person was hiding
Yeah,
when they jumped out.
It was like there in the bushes, apparently.
Yeah, I didn't even see it even after Jackson got held hostage. I was still just kind of going like, what the fuck is going on? And then I turned the corner. I'm like, oh, there's a gun pretty much on my face. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get the fuck back up here.
Yeah, so I don't want to unload until we have more or less boots on scene, areas secured. So if that means we have to do a couple laps, then so be it. But I think it'll go smoothly. We'll just let them know when we're heading down. They'll run out, secure it, and then should be fine.
Okay. I'm going to start making food in about while she's done, I'm just going to start get some on deck so that we can all have food. I'm also going to make some food for Fÿrr, and so I'll be right back.
So Anna, remind me, how do I pronounce your last name?
Chaikelson.
Chaikelson? Chaikelson.
Chaikelson.
Chaikelson. Okay.
But just say it however, I don't care really.
Let's call you Anna.
That's probably easiest.
How you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad. Kind of interested to see how this court stuff goes since, haven't done one of these before.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, potentially, just with how much is involved. I don't know if you've peeked at the docket posting, but there's a hell of a lot of charges. I think there's something like over 150 individual reports, as well as like 10 to 12 witnesses.
Yeah, I looked through some of it. Yeah. I don't envy the people who have to go through all those details with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah. So it'll be a long one. You're not expected. You don't have to stay for the entire thing, but yeah. They want risking done for that.
Should I get my equipment, by the way, now?
Yeah, yes, go exchange your equipment, because if it is under that amount, then it'd probably be.
Can you remind me where the room is for, like...
Yeah, follow me.
I saw the one with just the laptop before, but I couldn't remember where the main one was. Hi.
Good. Hi.
Alright, yeah, come on.
I just ran out from the back rooms.
Alright, so this door right here?
Yep.
Hey, Tim and Anna, when you guys are done grabbing that gear, just meet us out by the food truck, and we'll go over those last items.
10-4 Juliet just got on duty too.
Yeah, I was gonna tackle him. He ruined the surprise.
Welcome aboard, Juliet.
God.
Yeah, just come on in. Don't worry about those two right there too much. All right, so make sure you I'd say probably copy so that you know how to label your equipment.
Yeah, that's right.
Just so it can be very quick. And here, just one second, I'm gonna give you my labeling guide, my labeling thing. So take that. All right, now what you do is in this garbage
Hey,
can.
Tim, actually, on your way over here, can you go ahead and grab the firearms, and then also purchase, I think we just need an extra one, and get that labeled.
Yeah, 10-4.
Say, go ahead and all your wasted items or your items that are going away, just put them inside there. All right, once you're good, then go ahead and talk to her and go ahead and get your equipment and quickly mark it.
Yeah, okay, that's done.
All right, pass me back the things. The markers, sorry. And now, because I just purchased a firearm, where can I not go?
Into the yard.
Perfect. All right, so what I want you to do is meet them out behind the cafeteria where the thing is, and I'm gonna go grab the other weapons and meet you guys out there.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'll leave that one unlocked for you. And then just wait till I go through the door to the stairs before you go through, so no one can come grab me.
guys have the units?
Where's the
to
nearest trash
facilitate
can?
Frisking down at the courthouse.
Juliet, do you know of a trash can around here?
Huh?
Okay, perfect. Copy.
Trash can, maybe? Do you know of where?
There should be one in the
Okay, copy
visitation
that.
room
FYI, we're planning
Okay,
on
by
we'll go
like the
there later.
door.
5-ish minutes, 5:10. So we'll let you know when we actually start moving.
I don't think I'll need it. I'll just shove my trash in my pockets for now. We'll be chilling.
So many channels right now.
Yeah. While you guys are here, go ahead and set your secondary channel to channel 9. That's going to be the joint channel for courthouse security.
Cool.
If the other food's done.
Radio check on 9.
10-2.
Do you think I'll need an evidence bag container for this? 'Cause I don't have one right now.
Nah, you're fine then.
Okay. Oh my god.
All right, Quinn, pop quiz.
Uh-oh.
What did I just go grab?
The firearms.
Okay, so what does that mean?
That you're not allowed to gen pop anymore.
Okay, so perfect. So, who's going to be coming in the transport with me, Chad?
So I'm just gonna take the illusion in the back.
Okay.
And then you guys can kind of disperse. Who's gonna be leading?
Actually, you know what? Quinn, you could take the illusion at the front if you'd like.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, you have issues with driving, right? With sometimes
Yeah,
you got.
I'm not the best driver.
All right, Juliet, you'll take the illusion at the front, and Quinn will go with you. Anna,
Juliet doesn't have a
I'm
driver's
well,
license.
I
and-
can
Oh.
drive.
It's
Actually,
fine.
it's only 15 days expired.
Oh my god.
Yeah, also I don't have a valid driver's license either, and mine's way
All
more
right, we're
than
just
15
gonna.
days.
Yeah, we're just gonna pretend we didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll just
I
continue
know.
as normal.
Yeah, so Juliet,
I-
you and Quinn will go in the front illusion.
Hell yeah.
You know where the city hall is, correct?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Anna, you'll come with me. You'll be in the back with the inmate. I'll drive, and then yeah, Chad, I guess you'll be doing your thing.
Yep, I'll just be taking up the rear. Juliet, you comfortable doing transport callouts?
No, I'm
I
too
can if
cooked.
she's driving.
I'll say I'm going to keep it real. I am extremely cooked.
Yep, that is completely
yeah,
fine. Yeah,
that's
Quinn,
fair.
if you want to do the callouts.
Gotcha.
Let's just take the most direct route there. So, more or less straight down Ellis Freeway. We'll get off on Hawick. Take Hawick over to injured person at the courthouse. We'll take Hawick over to Eastbourne, and then Eastbourne to Rockford. Then we'll be there.
Okay.
All right.
So you always park on that side.
Yeah.
All right. What I would like is Juliet and Anna. I'd like you to go into the yard and go grab the inmate, and I would like you to pretty much put her into the airlock between the cafeteria and here. Juliet, you'll stay with her. Take a picture of her in the clothing that she is in and put it into the DOC group chat. That way, that's when we have it in case anything kind of goes sideways and we have an Allison situation.
Oh
then,
yeah, that was fun. We loved that.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go do that.
Come on. Now the game of finding her. Might be in cell block 6.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 6 is Lifer's Way, or is it 5? I don't remember. I'm so cooked. I think 6 is Lifer's. I'm pretty sure 6 is Lifer's.
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it 5? I don't remember. I am too. Oh, this is awful. This is so bad.
If you guys see Lottie out there running around, just let her know that car is going to come up and visit her, okay?
Okay.
And just let me know if she is awake. That way I can tell Car I'm on the phone with her right now.
Okay. And you can call us in?
Sure. Charlie 33 plus 1 entering cell block 6.
Go ahead. What?
Oh, lifers. We're coming in.
Fÿrr. Fÿrr.
Fÿrr. Fÿrr, hello. You in here?
Charlie 137 plus 1 going into the shower. Open sesame, please. Fÿrr? I don't know where she is.
Maybe in the yard.
She could be. Check these ones just to make sure. Oh wait. Is she in 6 or is she in 5? We're dumb. She's not a lifer.
Yeah,
She's
of
not
course.
a lifer. Brain. We totally remember she's not a lifer.
Charlie 33 plus 1 exiting cell block 6.
Totally remember she's not a lifer.
Did you say you found her or you couldn't find her?
Brain said, oh, she could be in the lifer one, but then I remembered she's not a lifer, so now we're entering cell block 5. Charlie 137 plus 1 entering cell block 5.
She should be pretty easy to see. She's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, we don't see her in the yard, and
Fÿrr.
don't
You
see
in
her
here?
in cell block 5 either.
I saw the lifers out in the yard. Or, I mean, the inmates.
I think that was Lottie.
We have breach.
Breach.
Over by the motor pool, 2-door vehicle. They're where the warden's camper was.
God, come on.
Charlie 33 +1, 76 motor pool.
Get up onto the catwalks.
Yeah, you guys on catwalk.
The inmates that are awake are all against the fence back by subblock 4. I found Fÿrr, but we're on catwalk.
Yeah, get on catwalks and start making your way. Start peeking over onto the north yard.
All right, we have them up against the fence, hands up. We're gonna move in. We're gonna cuff both of them. We're gonna search them, search the vehicle, and we'll go from there.
10-4.
These ones, odd ones, seven ones. Put down between the medical, I think he said. I don't remember. I am so fucking cooked, bro. My brain is running on 2 brain cells in a second.
Yeah, I don't really know my way around yet, so I just have to follow you.
2 in custody.
Yeah, it's okay. I run around these every once in a while.
2 on catwalks. Go ahead and check on that injured person.
10-4. Alright, back to the yard we go. I am. This is your daily cardio.
Are you guys on the catwalks? You can go ahead and wait. Is there an injured person? Did you find them or?
I'm just now getting back to the yard.
I need to go 10-7 for about 45 seconds.
Is going to meet you in visitation.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Lottie? Yeah, okay. Hi. Are you ready for me to get Fÿrr into the airlock between cafeteria?
Stupid
Was there
bitch.
someone
Think
injured
about how you
around
bore
here?
me.
No, we're all good here.
So everybody
Oh, that
that's in the
woman's
court
ego is,
case,
but
there was
nothing
some
else.
strange shit left by a deputy car outside. So just keep an eye out for any strange looking individuals. I'm about to put a civ report up with the info soon.
Okay, you wanna grab your wheelchair? Alright. We're doing cuffs. And Jew over here. Forgot she's in a wheelchair, so obviously can't let her walk.
Would let me roll.
No, I can't let you.
Charlie 21 on radio channel 9.
Channel 9 is back
To be advised, we're slowed down on the transport. We just had a breach from something unrelated. You guys able to send an officer up here to get these people sorted with charges?
There you go.
Charlie Pop 19 will head up there.
Going to set you down on
Copy that. Thank you. Just be advised, one of them is Kara with, I believe, 3 warrants.
Copy that.
Right.
What's the status of the 47?
It's code 4. Fÿrr fell out of her wheelchair, but she managed to get back up into it. Just okay.
Okay, copy that.
Charlie 137 + 1 is in the airlock between the cafeteria and motor pool with Fÿrr now.
Copy that. While you're there and while we have some time, go ahead and snap a picture of her outfit and save that. Perfect, appreciate it.
Totally have you secured in my arms and nothing else. Totally normal. Are you we good to come out, or you want to stay in the airlock?
Just wait there for now. We're just dealing with the situation.
Yeah, once
Oh,
we
yeah, sorry, I
clear this
forgot,
up,
yeah.
we'll continue with everything else.
Let me make sure all the doors unlocked. Oh, this isn't. Well, I can't really walk. I feel bad. I sit on the ground, so cozy.
You doing okay, Fÿrr?
Hey, Tim, Quinn, I don't know if you already did, but let's just make sure we get pictures of both their pockets, as well as any ID cards on them.
What about you?
I know Kara's does not match her actual ID, though.
Yeah, doing okay. Just trying to get used to listening to the radio while talking to people at the same time, so if I don't hear you properly, that's why.
Trust me, it comes with time. You'll get used to it. It's something you'll. Do you have your mic set? Well, I guess some of your mic part of it, but like your your earpiece part. So like I talk into one, and people and hear in another. So like
No,
my
I
left
haven't really.
earpiece is my left earpiece is, what I talk to like like DOC channel, and then like my other earpiece is where I hear other channels.
That's
So that
probably
way
a
I
good
don't
idea.
if I get overstimulated with one, I can just take that earpiece out. Really nice. Our radios are very advanced, very, very advanced. If you just pull up the HUD on your radio, you can scroll down to radio, and you'll see the options. So like the primary radio left to right audio balance, I have that turned clear up, and then the basic / secondary, I have that turned clear down.
Sure if I'm looking at the right spot, to be honest.
you know, just, you know, you head on your radio. And just, you know, you scroll down to the radio section of it, and you'll see, like, primary, left to right balance, and then you'll see secondary. Put one high and put one low, and it'll split the channels. I need to think for 2 seconds.
How long have you been working here? The one who isn't holding me.
Alright, you can go and move her out of
maybe
the airlock
about
area now.
2 weeks, I think. Not that long.
Alright. And oh, you want to step back so I don't accidentally pick you up?
Yeah.
Let's go. Charlie 127. I'm doing the motorboat.
Hello, 21. The incident at prison is cleared. We're loading Fÿrr up now, and are gonna go ahead and get the 91 on the way.
Julia, have you done
In a
yet,
second, I will let you guys know when we're about halfway, and if I could get officers
I
to
have it
secure
now.
the
I
unloading
thought
area, check bushes, stairwell, and
can you
everything.
get her
Just
paperwork
make sure
done
that's
real
secure.
quick?
It'd be much appreciated.
Yeah. What's the state ID again? I don't remember.
Alright, and I'm gonna hand you your firearm.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
I was like, I swear that car does not sound like it's
Can I
outside.
get a few of the security that are inside
So just
the
confirm you
courthouse
have
to
weapon
come
number
outside,
2.
Why they're bringing Fÿrr here?
Yes, I do.
Alright, perfect.
Yeah, I'll head outside.
Alright, Juliet.
At which point do I need to create the card for this?
You can create it now.
Alright,
Yeah,
just
there you go. There's yours.
title it 1091 City Hall.
Alright.
Uh,
I am
Yep,
number 5,
that's fine.
and the paperwork is done for her.
Perfect. Okay, before we take off, I would like everyone to kind of grab their food for them right now so we don't kind of forget. I'll grab some for Fÿrr.
Where's the food at?
It's in the front solution. Once we got that, everyone kind of load up. We'll get ready to take off.
What goes in the description again?
You can literally put the exact same thing, or you can say Fÿrr transport, something like that. We don't see them, so we can put them out. We'll just never see them. Yeah.
I hope that works.
All right.
All right, Anna, get in the back. Get in the back with Fÿrr.
Yeah.
You want to go 50 for this, or what speed limit do you want to go? Go ahead to spell off. We love it.
Since we're running a bit late, let's keep everything to 10 over the posted speed limit.
We wait for any PD, or are we just leaving?
Nope, just us. So we can go ahead and kick it off.
All right, and Anna, just make sure to kind of keep an eye on Fÿrr. Make sure that by the time we leave the parking lot, that she's still back there with you. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, all good.
You would hate to fall out of this vehicle somehow.
Into.
Yeah, particularly on the highway or something.
More additionals on this channel for the transport.
Oh, sirens going today.
1 will be 76 City Hall.
Yeah, I don't
for
think
the
we have
trial.
any police units traveling with DOCs. If you want to just go and escort them here.
Alright, I'll get it a
Yeah, be advised the 1091 has just set off from Bolingbroke, so we're going to be merging on to LS Freeway South now. Once we get back to the city,
How's it going, Fÿrr?
PD units to actually, honestly, we could probably have PD units start clearing
I
the
believe I pissed off
offloading area.
this woman named Lottie.
That'd probably be the most helpful position right now.
I'm pretty sure it's just me
Boost her
patrol
ego
right now.
quite a
I'll
bit.
do my best around City Hall.
Yeah, what happened?
There's a handful of us on the west side.
Oh, her and
There's
some
some
other
FIB and
man
PD on the west side that are
came up harassing
keeping
and
an eye on the
accosting me,
intake
so
area,
certain
and
of
I'm
my
just on
guilt
the corner
before
close by, so it
anything
should
had even
be
happened.
okay for now.
Threatening me, telling me that they were
Yeah,
going
my
to do
biggest fear
things to
though,
me.
just make sure someone checks the bushes.
I don't think they liked that I
If
thought it
that's
was
clear,
funny
then we
and
should be
pathetic.
fine.
I'm near the bushes, and there's nobody by me at least, so maybe the bushes.
Did they do anything to you, or were they just
keep an eye on
talking?
too.
Oh, of course they did nothing.
I'm gonna pigeon night and check around the area. I'll check the roofs too.
I do believe my indifference towards them was more harming than their threats were to me.
Have you been in the prison for a while, waiting for this case?
Many years.
Okay.
We're going to be taking this exit here. Lead is slowing
Oh,
and
Tim.
taking a right.
I almost forgot. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
I forgot my last question. Do you think I'm guilty?
Unsure.
Rooftop to the west of the jewelry store in the city.
1091 is pulling up now.
We're slowing and taking a left here.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the court case at the moment? You nervous at all?
In a similar situation?
Transport as 23.
Sorry, you've been in a similar situation, did you say?
Would you be in a similar situation?
Oh, would I be? Oh, probably.
I don't see the ground under me.
I would have
All
to
right,
say
Anna,
yes.
go ahead and get out.
We can siren check on the paddy wagon.
Go ahead and grab her.
Sure.
23.
Don't see the ground under me.
Right, watch your head, Fÿrr. Okay. Should I...
Yep, just right down
carry
here, right
her,
on
or-
the steps.
She's in a wheelchair, so I.
Yeah, just you can carry her. Alright, just follow Veronica over here. You're good.
Alright, I'm
You're good.
having some headaches right now.
Oh, okay.
It looked awful coming into the
Think
city.
maybe someone else needs to carry her.
Quinn, you
But
able to
also
help her out?
Stop dragging
Yeah.
me around.
Sorry.
All right,
Stop escorting her.
Yep, done.
All right, we shall go now.
just make sure, load her in the cells real quick, and then, or just have her in the hallway. Run up, check with the judge, make sure they're ready to bring.
Oh, are they ready for her upstairs?
They're bringing her.
They're ready for her.
They're ready.
Is she
I copy that.
Oh no,
Charlie
shit.
wants to
Can't walk right
decide
now,
who's
right?
gonna go to the top.
Up the stairs and to
All right.
where she's going.
Yeah, me neither.
There's a lot of people that have already been deposed. The witness
Let's
list is.
see what we can pull.
Micah has been
Justin comes to the
deposed.
table.
Ripley has
Yeah,
been
I'll
deposed.
put
Gon
Mr.
has
Cups.
You know
been
Rambo?
deposed, Dakota has been deposed, and
Gonna
Bree
cup you to the
McNabb have all
table
been
right here.
deposed. 5
And
of
I
those
believe you're on
Oh,
the
no
other
shit.
side of this. Ben.
done.
Yeah.
See, she tell her. She's afraid
I
of something bad
can't
happening. I said nothing ever really
I
happened.
can't see the bench right
As far
now.
as I know, I don't think anything
Oh,
bad
no.
has ever happened.
Move your way
Oh
back.
wait, it's a bit better now.
All right.
Anyways, yeah,
No, before
nothing
you get in
really,
there, I got
the
you.
cops got this. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Just real quick to reiterate to everyone, make sure you have your secondary on channel 9 for the actual court case security radio com.
What a nice guy.
So she submitted a statement, right?
Which side? Where am I? Hold on.
I'm just here.
Sorry, excuse me.
By the way, how I'm planning on doing this one is.
Alright, we're good.
I'm gonna just periodically get photos of the crowd.
Okay, good. She only just got here, so we're good.
What I've always wanted to do for death penalty stuff.
Hopefully she gets what she deserves.
Just in case. Ugh.
Alright. See you later then.
I'm just worried somebody's gonna try something in here.
What is Mira wearing?
Where is she?
To the left.
Oh.
No, that's actually kind of con.
Right? It's actually, she's cute. Very cute.
Yep. If we wanted to do sentencing, when would it be? Like, this would this weekend be too early of a turnaround? What are we looking for? Monday, Tuesday? Because I'm gone on Wednesday.
Send it. No, I don't have any dietary restrictions.
Taking a diet.
Didn't say he was going to
Somewhere,
die.
I'm trying to be worried because she's been incarcerated for how long? She's been incarcerated for like what, 27 years? 17 years already. Or more than.
Did I send you all of the questions, Ophelia? Did you get I think I sent you everything.
Yeah, Charlie 33 needs to take a quick nap.
Representing your various parties, please announce your appearances for the record.
Franklin Starr for the state. James Bird for the defense.
Julia Thorne for the defense.
All right. So to fill everyone in who is not an attorney, so far we have deposed 5 of the state's witnesses prior to trial, and we will be hearing testimony from the remaining 5 witnesses for the state, as well as the 2 witnesses.
Charlie 33, back 10-8.
figured that would just be.
Now, oh god, this is going to be a really lengthy arraignment. Okay. There's not really any
The
way to
say
speed this up,
Pines
so-
literally came in and said, talked about it, and
Miss
just let it go. So I figured it wasn't a big deal.
You stand accused of the following charges. I'm going to read them off, I guess, per person, and then we'll... What?
If I may, we actually have a motion to amend those charges pre-trial, if that would...
You've got a motion to amend more?
Yeah, when you hear the motion, you'll understand.
Okay.
I'm gonna go upstairs.
In the Hills Butcher incident
No.
report, the master report, on the Micah Rain attack 52221, there is a report attached of her medical report. Micah Rain SW, medically induced coma, number 52215. As of 19 hours ago, and due to our inability to, 24 hours of the case, there was a medical update which we feel meets the prong of minor mayhem. Considering that, and considering the 2 additional charges of minor mayhem that the defendant is facing for Doris Daisy Drew as well as Sadi Kai, the state, are motioning to amend to change the 3 counts of minor mayhem to 1 count of major mayhem. We feel that this is similar in nature to a victim dying before court and a charge being upgraded from an attempted murder to a murder.
So essentially your argument is, well, I've got 2 mayhem minors charged already. Based on a change of circumstances in the medical condition of a 3rd individual, you think it believes, or you think it rises to the level of minor mayhem. 3 minor mayhems together make a major. Is that what's going on here?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Does the defense have anything to say about that?
In the 11th hour, Your Honor. 19 hours ago, evidence was supposed to be cut off, submitted, what, about 48 hours ago, as you explained to me?
If the panel needs a further rebuttal to that, we, the state, have one.
I don't think I really need a rebuttal to this one. Basically, your argument is that 19 hours ago, there was a change in circumstances as to Miss Rain's medical condition, which you couldn't have known about beforehand. And you're arguing essentially that exception to admit or to amend the charges. I mean, the medical report's already admitted, but that's where you're going, Franklin?
Yeah, that would have been my rebuttal, that the medical report is already within evidence and that it simply was updated as per the checkup that was made from Micah Rain 19 hours prior. This was not
All
an
right, the
attempt for us at
panel will
11th hour.
confer. Give me a moment.
Yeah, they haven't prepared for major mayhem. I don't know. They can charge it separately. They don't need to do it as part of this docket. We're not gonna hear. I don't want to hear major mayhem. It's an undue burden on the defense for them to fight a charge that to suddenly fight a charge that they've heard about pre-trial.
What do you think, Sharp?
Agree with it being an undue burden on the defense. However, the only difference between mayhem major and mayhem minor is the instance of cases that occurred. My bigger question is more so that looking at the medical report from 19 hours ago, why did the patient not get a checkup in the 14 days since they got a checkup? Because
I mean,
it looks
that's
like
not.
that assertion was already, or that assumption was already made 14 days ago. So what changed on that in 19 or in that 2 weeks? Because that's not really notated.
Yeah, so here's the thing. There is something called the delayed death exception. There's no delayed, not quite death exception. So, I mean, as a matter of judicial efficiency, it might be better to hear it now, but at the end of the day, I'm not even sure it's gonna fucking matter. Like, look at all our fucking charges.
It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but also the defensive, right?
I think we can just. I think we handle it if it matters. That's where I'm gonna go with it. I think if it ends up actually mattering, like the state doesn't manage to prove any of the murders, then maybe we handle the mayhem major. And then if not, obviously in a separate proceeding. And then if not, okay, who cares? You've already been convicted of murder, potentially multiple murders. Like, we'll.
Just got a call.
If you really want to put him on the stand again,
Take that for your notes.
for mayhem major, then we can hash it out then. But for now, I understand where Franklin's coming at it, but like we can have that as its own little separate, mini trial. Because also, since that's just going to be based on the same facts as today, that's something that'd be very, pretty fairly quick to decide,
Yeah, I mean, we'll be able to hear the facts if they ever wanted to press those charges at a later date, which they can do. It'll probably be a summary judgment, right? Because we already had the facts, we already got all the evidence. If they really want to push it later, we can just summary judgment. They even need to go to trial, decide on it. But for today, they can't mount a defense.
All right, so after conferring with the panel. Okay, so we've got something in Los Santos called the delayed death exception. I don't know exactly if we've ever written it down because it's never actually come up in practice, but it's always something that we've intended to follow. And basically that means if you're like mortally wounded and we're not sure if you're going to make it, and then in the pendency of the litigation, you die, even if you've already been charged with attempted murder for that crime, it allows the state to also charge you with murder. Here's the thing, though. There's no such thing as an almost death exception or a part of death exception. Like, there's no lesser version of that. There's also honestly kind of a question of, with the harsh severity and mountain of charges to which Miss Phosphøphylite is already being charged with, there's a question of whether it is going to end up actually making a substantial difference in either the incarceration or sentencing of Miss Phosphøphylite. So what we're going to do is, we're not going to hear it today. If it ends up coming to pass that, she beats all 7 murder charges and 1 or more of the mayhem charges, then we can set a separate hearing on it, and defense will have had enough time to, look at the report and, prepare adequately for their defense of, the mayhem major charge. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Franklin, but that is kind of the definition of a trial by surprise. I know it's outside of your control, but there's other mechanisms to deal with it other than just rushing it out, in this case. Even if it may not be the most judicially efficient way of handling it, in order to preserve the due process rights of the defendant, handling that in a separate hearing and or trial later down the road, if it ends up even mattering, is the more correct call. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me, Your Honor.
All right. Any other pretrial motions?
Further pretrial motions from the state.
No further pretrial motions from the defense, Your Honor.
What do you mean further? You didn't even make one.
No, at all.
All right. Okay, let's get on to this extremely lengthy arraignment then. Okay, Miss Phosphøphylite, for the killing of Stacy Recht, you are being charged with 1 count of murder and 1 count of robbery. To the count of murder, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
And to the count of robbery, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Sorry, was that guilty or not guilty?
Not
guilty.
guilty.
It's going to be the same for everything.
Okay, so you're just doing a blanket plea of not guilty to all of the charges to which you are being accused of?
I suspect we're going to be here for a while, so let's do that.
Blanket plea.
All right, blanket plea, not guilty to everything. Gotcha. You know, it's a little more dramatic to do it one by one, but God, there are just so many charges. So...
Enough drama.
yeah, I'm sure there'll be enough drama on the court case as it is. All right. Opening arguments, opening statements. I'm assuming both parties wish to make them. You got them prepared, ready to go?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then we'll start with the state. Tell us why we are all here today.
Your Honors, esteemed members of the Los Santos City Courthouse, I would like to preface this opening with a warning to any and all who are present here today. The crimes and incidents which we will be discussing in this courtroom are some of the most vicious and heinous acts which have ever been committed within the city's boundaries. Any who are faint of heart or cannot handle themes of mutilation, self-harm, or animal torture should remove themselves from this courtroom at this time. On March 17th, 2025, the bodies of our local wildlife began to appear around our forests and state parks, which showed signs of extreme mutilation and torture. Deer, whose entrails had been decorated around the scenes with clear intent. Cougars, who had been gutted and their unborn cubs hung as if they were art pieces for display. It wouldn't be until
Can we get
March
that person with
29th,
mouse mastering with it?
2025, that the first murder victim, Stacy Recht, would appear. The scene of Stacy's murder would share many themes and commonalities to these horrific acts against animals and would lay out the beginning.
I mean, do you
of a
have one
series
person
of
who can
murders
stage just
throughout
inside the
violent
courtroom
case.
doors?
7
FIBCR 50, I'll
would
stage
die
right inside.
by the hands of the murderer known as the Hills Butcher. Each
There's
death
someone on the
becoming
defendant's
more
side wearing
violent,
a mask that needs to be removed.
methodical,
I'll take care of
and
it.
abstract with each killing. The victims, all members of our city who loved, lost, and contributed to our little community in their own ways, would be carved like animals and displayed as if the killer wished for us to look upon their work in reverence. Stacy Recht, first victim, who had barely had an opportunity to find her place in our world, was taken, killed, without a sign that she even struggled. Her heart was carved from her chest, replaced with that of an animal's. Antlers were nailed to her head, and her face was stitched into a sad smile. Jilly Markovic, a beloved EMS, would be next. Again, she was taken.
PD from
killed
FIB, they're
without a
claiming it's not a
struggle,
mask and vehemently
carved.
refusing.
Her heart stolen from her.
They could leave the courtroom.
Her face
I
was
will escort
stitched
them out.
in the same sad smile. Kai Otani, a self-proclaimed explorer, would be taken from us just 2 weeks into his adventure here. His body would be found displayed like that of the American Gothic painting, a pitchfork sewn into his hands with Jilly Markovic's heart pierced atop it. Amber Harper, who had just been hired at Bloom and Harvest, excited to make her first delivery of flowers, only to find that it was the killer she would be walking into the hands of. Robert Scott, a proud American and the only victim who was able to fight back. And for his attempts, his limbs would all be removed and his face would be smashed in. Paul Jones
PD from
and
FIB,
Lucy
they took it
Calloway
off. They're claiming that they were
would
just
die
warned it
together,
was a citation.
strung up by their feet and gutted in a display meant to reflect the painting The Corpses of the DeWitts by Jean Debain. It wouldn't be until the 19th of April that the first indication of who this monster in the shadow was. A trash can containing the stolen possessions of Jilly Markovic was decorated with the blood of defendant Fÿrr. Soon after, Fÿrr would post her own selfie to Amber Harper's Twinsta account. After receiving a phone call from Elias Winchester to inform her of this fact, Fÿrr would be conveniently kidnapped during this phone call by the person who she claims is the real Hills Butcher, her brother, Orion Phosphøphylite. This will be the crux of the argument that the defendant and their counsel will be using to shift the blame for these horrific acts. However, we the state are confident that we will be able to prove once and for all that Fÿrr is the one solely responsible for the planning, the execution, the staging, and the mutilation of all of these victims and animals, as well as the victims who have survived
Individual
her
coming in who
attempts
had a
on
medical
their
mask
lives.
on, he may put it back on when he gets inside.
Thank you for your time
He was
and your
told not to.
consideration in these matters here today, and we look forward to putting this to rest, along with the souls of those whom we have lost.
What's the description? Blue shirt, backpack.
Abram, black backpack, V necklace.
Sierra 50, I have visual.
Ready, Your Honor?
Yep, go ahead.
Gentlemen of the court. This is San Andreas and all those that witness this. We have a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions. A real-life horror story. Story where many people were brutally attacked and killed. Story that detectives worked very hard on, as seen by the sheer mountain of paperwork all the legal counsels have had to wade through. Despite all that work, easy option out. They found a person they could just throw this at, to send them to an executioner tied up in a bow. The victim of the story and pointed their accusatory ire at her forming a bogeyman to sate the public's fears despite the continued deaths. That's why we're here today, because of vagaries and speculations being used to accuse a traumatized and brutalized victim of a killer who still walks freely, possibly even killing as we speak. I wish to be here today, dealing with such grave circumstances.
The individual with the mouse mask has put it back
But
on.
by the rule of the
I'm
law
heading
of
down.
this just society we call home, we must be, to ensure that the innocent are not harmed by the erroneous failure of the detectives who were just too eager to put a neat little seal on this tale that will haunt all of us that have been
I'm
unfortunate
gonna wait for
enough
the
to be
closings
involved
to finish,
with
and
the
then
grim,
I'll escort her out of the building.
ongoing story of the Hills Butchers. The scene here today must be taken with the utmost severity, but not only the judiciary, but the citizens who bear witness. Not about just the victims who died. Stacey Recht, Amber Harper, Jilly Markovic, Paul Jones, Kayotani, Lucy Calloway and Robert Scott. Those who survived. Daisy Drews, Sati Kai, Micah Rain,
Took it off.
and the defendant herself.
I'm gonna stage
Fÿrr.
down here.
The one surviving victim whose life is on the line in this courtroom today. Who was not only a victim, but an individual who actively tried to help the police in catching those responsible. quiet, artistic soul, who despite the trials and tribulations of life, even tried to make the world a better place as part of the District Attorney's Office. But despite the horrors all present here today will have to be exposed, we must remember, if we are not careful with what occurs over the next few hours, mind the core of everything today, the life and freedom of a victim of monsters, end up collectively lowering ourselves to the level of the individuals who are no doubt watching and hoping we finish off one more of their victims for them, completing their nefarious schemes.
Go ahead and call your first witness, State.
State calls Doris Stacy Drew to the stand.
Doris, please approach the stand. Everybody in the day shop.
Can do. All right. You can go ahead and raise your left hand for me. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're going to give before the court today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury, so help you, Danielle?
I do.
State, your witness is sworn in.
Ms. Drew, we appreciate you taking your time to be here today to speak on behalf of yourself and the other victims. Could you state your full name and occupation for the record?
My name is Doris Drews. My preferred name is Daisy. I have several jobs. I work as a manager for the Scrap and Fix, and the Painted Moon, owner of Forever
Speak into the microphone. There's a microphone in front of you. Speak into it.
Yeah, go ahead and reach over and just push that little on button for us, will you?
Is that better? On and off again.
Can the counselors hear clearly?
I'm having no issues, Your Honor.
No issues here for me, Your Honor.
All right.
I have like daredevil
just be
hearing.
deaf.
Please continue, Miss Daisy.
Those are my main jobs that I work.
Miss Daisy, are you aware of the incident in which you were attacked on May 2nd around 9 p.m. Eastern? Do you know why you were attacked?
Weeks prior, my fiance had received threats from a number saying that they were going to make art of me and give me a beautiful death.
And for the record, who is your fiance?
My fiance is Bree McNabb.
Can you give a description of your assailant?
It was dark and they were wearing all black clothing, a black mask, but they from what I could see, they did have a feminine figure.
At any point in time, were they driving a vehicle?
Yes, when they drove up to house, they were in what I think was a blue-colored Mesa type vehicle.
Can you tell us about the injuries that you sustained as a result of this attack?
Stabbed in the abdomen. Alright. Hit my kidney. I was then had the word haunt carved into my face and then again into my chest.
And how has this affected your life going forward?
comfortable in my own skin. Don't show my face to people. I'm waiting for the test results for the reduced function in my kidneys.
Did the assailant say anything to you during this attack?
They said a few things. Mostly spoke to my fiance over the phone.
Are you aware of whether or not your fiance had any communication with defendant Fÿrr prior to this attack?
I believe a couple of text exchanges that happened prior after Fÿrr made the threats to harm me and her.
You're stating that it was Fÿrr who made these threats?
The text messages that made the threats came from Fyr's phone.
Thank you, Miss Stacey. No further questions.
Okay, before we go on to cross, I need a clarification on 2 questions because I was unable to hear the answer. First was the description that you gave of your assailant. Can you please repeat that?
So it was dark, so it was difficult for me to see, but they were wearing all dark clothing. Face was covered with a mask, but from what I could tell, they did have a feminine figure.
All right, and the second answer that I didn't get was the question of whether your assailant said anything to you.
There were a few words exchanged. I don't remember them specifically, but most of what was said was over the phone to my fiance.
Okay, that's the clarification that I needed. Does anyone else on the panel need any clarification, or we good to go to cross? All right, cross-examination it is. Take it away, defense.
Then, Daisy? Can you tell us the date of which your attack occurred?
I believe it was on the 2nd.
Oh, you're fine, B.
It was during the
taking all my
time
hands
of the Diamond Take terrorism court case.
Corner like that.
Is that the same date that the text messages were sent to your fiance or partner?
No, these text messages were sent to my fiance, I believe, 1 to 2 weeks beforehand.
Are you aware that Fÿrr was kidnapped at the period of this date?
Your Honor.
Rebuttal?
Sure.
The scope is within the date of the text messages being sent from the defendant's phone. This is well within the scope to ask this question.
Rebuttal if necessary, Your Honor.
Let me discuss this one with the panel.
Got nothing written down, so this can be you two.
Hell no. Not even in the slightest. The state never asked anything to this witness about Fÿrr being kidnapped, or even none of her answers involved Fÿrr being kidnapped. It is wholeheartedly without a scope, in my opinion.
I haven't written anything down. I haven't heard anything about it. So
Be advised, someone with a chancla is entering. We've told them to keep that thing holstered.
Said, nothing that I've written down because I don't have anything written down.
All right, after conferring with the panel, we have decided that this question is outside of scope. Nothing said on the direct line of questioning had to do with basically Fyrr's status at the time. Understand where defense is coming at from this one, but establishing this fact by just questioning a witness, especially one of state's witnesses, probably isn't the way you get this on the record.
Understood, Your Honor. I'll get it on there. Appreciate it.
Okay, Daisy. Person that approached you, did they give you a name?
While speaking to my fiance on the phone, they did use the name.
That name was?
It gave the name Ash.
You're familiar with?
Someone just ran in there without being frisked. Mouse mask.
Assaulted.
Yeah, she just threw something.
Familiar with.
Yeah, she's just thinks she's sticking it
You
to the man. I
described
don't know.
your attacker as
Through a cup.
female figured. In this courtroom that would match the description of female figured?
Several people that would match the description of female figured.
Would that include myself?
Include yourself.
Justice Van Dorst as well?
Say so.
Witness is so tacky.
You have no other description than a female figured person. Would it be reasonable to say that you have no idea who attacked you?
I feel that threats coming from a particular person's phone could indicate that they had attacked me.
Objection. Didn't answer the question.
Rebuttal, Your Honor.
Sure, what's your rebuttal?
The counselor insinuated that my client had no idea who attacked her or asked her if it would be reasonable to suggest that she had no idea. And my client responded with an answer to suggest that she did have an idea and why she had that idea. I think this was a perfectly valid answer, and the counselor simply does not like it.
Correct.
Hey, objection, speculation on us not liking it.
Okay. Let's not object to rebuttals. That's not how this works. I'll go ahead and take this one. I'm going to overrule this one. She did respond to the question because the substance of the question essentially was, so you don't have any, reasonable identification of this person. And then the answer to that question was another fact that could be used in order to discern the identity of the person, which is also in substance basically answering your question with a no.
Allow me 1 second to confer with co-counsel. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. DuPont, do you have a redirect based on that line of cross-examination?
We have no redirect, Your Honor.
N2. Can someone go outside and
Alright,
report all
then,
the
Miss
cars that
Daisy,
just
you
drove
may
by? This
step
is tow
down.
truck towing cars outside City Hall. Chasing a schmuck right now. We're
Do you have any other witnesses for me, Mr. DuPont?
I'm gonna
Yes,
go check
quite a few.
the
We call
DOC.
Anyone else like
Ashley
to do that?
Smith to the
Said
stand.
that people are towing cars out front.
All right, Officer Smith.
Copy that. Appreciate it.
All right, Ashley, go ahead and raise your left hand for me. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury, so help you aim house?
I swear. Your Honors, before we get started, can I consult personal notes on some of these questions? This is the events going over a month.
You want to look at your personal notes on
Just my own
the
personal
case
notes. Yeah.
prior to questioning?
If there's anything like specific, like dates, times, things like that, details that aren't easily rememberable.
Oh, okay, so you're basically asking to be able to refresh your memory if you can't recall something? I don't know. What do my panelists think about that one?
I'm gonna have to lean steady on this one and say that this is 7 murders and a felony A case. One would think that this witness has been prepped and should know what's going to be asked of them and shouldn't need to look at notes. If it's regarding dates and times, that's something we can read through the incident report ourselves.
I don't want to be read to. If it's stuff that's in evidence, I can read it myself. I'm a big reader.
Yeah, I need to go stare at my phone in the back if somebody wants to replace me, but I should be like 3 minutes.
Charlie 30th Street, go replace her.
Slightly,
possibly.
All right, so after conferring with the panel has decided that if there's any specific things like dates and times and whatnot, we know a witness on the stand is probably going to be a bit unreliable in that regard, and that their recorded recollection, as given in reports and other statements therein, are probably going to be a lot more accurate. This is all to say, don't sweat the details. Actually, a divergence as to how most people do it. You see, the way it works mostly in court is if the witness cannot remember something, but they have a transcribed recollection of it, they are allowed to refresh their memory with the transcribed recollection. And that's how that's supposed to work. But we'll proceed with what the panel has decided. Go ahead and start your questioning, Franklin.
Just to remind everyone, make sure to keep your mouth open nice and wide before you speak. As well, leave a little bit of time for the other counsel to be able to object before answering questions. Miss Smith, could you give your full name and your occupation for the record?
Ashley Smith. I am a senior officer with DPPD and a senior detective with CID.
Ms. Smith, could you explain the extent of your involvement within this investigation?
I've been one of the main investigators on this case, working with Wesley Pines and Alice Meyer. I've helped coordinate and gather information, responded to multiple scenes, interrogated suspects.
Are you aware of the murder of Stacy Recht which took place on March 29th, 2025 at approximately midnight Eastern.
Yes.
Are you aware of how the police were informed of this murder?
Yeah, there was a text message in 911, something about her heart was beating too loud. It was a very erratic typing pattern. It was very unique. And there was a GPS location screenshot sent after that initial text.
Do you know which phone this 911 text informing the police of where Stacy Reck's body originated from?
Yeah, Stacy Reck's phone was the one that was used to call in her own death.
And upon investigation of Stacy Reck's body, was anything missing, any property from her person?
Was missing, her driver's license was also missing.
Could you repeat that, Miss Ashley, and give a little pause before you speak?
Sorry. Her phone and driver's license were also missing.
Was Stacy's phone ever found?
Yes, it was found on the next victim in this series, Julie Markovic.
Was there any activity from Stacy's phone after her death aside from this text to 911?
Texts were sent to some of her contacts saying, I'm sorry. There was an additional 911 a few days later about she's afraid, it's the person, it wasn't her, obviously, saying they're afraid they'll do it again. Pain in their head was overwhelming. And then there was also some Twinstas posted, or at least one Twinsta posted, of her corpse with the phrase, didn't deserve to die.
At any point in time, had the victim's public MDW profile been changed in relation to the murder?
Yes, her MDW photo was changed to a photo of her dead body on scene.
Do you know how these changes were made?
Fÿrr's MDW made the changes.
And can you describe the condition of Stacy Reck's body upon its discovery?
It was mutilated. Her lips were stitched. There was a crown of antlers on her head. Her chest had been smashed open. She was holding her own heart in her hands.
Was Stacy Reck's body left near anything specific?
Near a bloody pool.
The blood from this pool, did this come back to anybody specific?
I'm honestly unsure about that one.
Was Stacy Reck GSR tested? Could you repeat that answer and make sure to leave your mouth nice and wide open?
Sorry, yes, she was GSR tested.
And what were the results of that GSR test?
They were negative.
Was there any evidence in connection to the death of Stacy Reck which was not found on the scene?
Yeah, there was a knife, a hammer, an axe, and some gloves with her blood on it. They were all found in a trash can in the cemetery where Fÿrr was working at the time.
Were these the only things found in that cemetery trash can?
There was also it was the same one that was left at a later point for Pines in a dead drop from quote unquote Sam, talking about snaring, skinning, and killing wolves. It's in evidence, but I could read it for you if you really want me to.
No, thank you, Miss Smith. Was there anything on the scene of Stacy's murder to indicate that there were other individuals aside from Stacy herself on scene?
There was just a bloody trail and the bloody pool water.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the scene of Julie Markovic. Miss Smith, are you aware of the murder of Julie Markovic, which occurred April 4th, 2025 at approximately midnight Eastern? Once again for us, Miss Smith.
Sorry, yes, I'm aware. I'll try to remember to pause.
Are you aware of how police were informed of this murder?
A 911 text from Julie Markovic's phone.
This 911 text, did it share similarities to the one which was received in accordance with Stacy Reck's murder?
Yeah, there was the same kind of repetitive language, very distinct and similar typing style.
Do you know which phone this text message to 911 belonged to?
Jillian Markovic.
And what was the condition of Julie Markovic's body upon its discovery?
I was mutilated. Her face was sewn up into a sad smile. There were coyote heads mounted to her arms with rebar. Her heart was suspended in the middle of her chest. No, sorry, not her heart. An animal heart was suspended in the middle of her chest with fish hooks. Her heart was missing. Her chest had been crushed. It was. Oh, and there were sewing needles under her nails.
You mentioned that her chest had been cut open and an animal heart was suspended with fish hooks. Do you know where her heart is?
Well, her heart is currently in evidence cold storage, but it was found on the scene of Kayotani's murder on a pitchfork.
All right, Charlie
And
22
Julie's
is returned.
body, was it located near anything specific?
Her pool, that pool was also red with blood.
Was there anything of note left on Julie's person?
Stacy Reck's phone was left on Julie's person.
Was there anything that was missing from Julie's person?
Driver's license, phone, MDW, radio, medic belt with God knows how many syringes in it.
Was there any activity on Julie's personal phone other than this text message to 911?
There were immediately after her death, there were some text group chats she was part of. I think there were also some Twinsta sent from that phone, and there were texts sent to a burner owned by a police officer, as well as texts to friends of Julie's.
Text messages sent to contacts and friends. What was the tone or substance of these texts?
Is basically, I'm sorry, she didn't have to die, she shouldn't have died, just kind of language like that.
And for the Twinsta, what was the tone and substance of those?
One of the Twinstas was the same lines like, I didn't deserve to die, and the other one was like, please stop me, please, can you stop me, kind of language.
Now, you stated that this phone was used to contact the burner of an officer. Can you state what officer this burner belonged to?
Pines.
You said Wesley Pines?
Yes.
Do you know what conversations were had between this burner and Officer Wesley Pines?
There were quite a few conversations. It started off with they were talking about potentially going hunting or hiking. Sorry, going hiking together, spending time in the wilderness, talking about where they both lived, which this phone answered North Carolina is where she was from. This phone called itself Sam. This phone also at multiple points was that's all from this specific phone.
Miss Ashley, you said at multiple points this phone, but then the microphone cut out. Could you repeat that?
That's because I wasn't 100% what was used on specifically this phone. But I know that this was the one where they started talking about hiking and all that.
Now, you stated the individual using this phone to text Wesley's burner stated they were from North Carolina. Are you aware of where defendant Fÿrr is from?
Carolina.
You said North Carolina?
Yeah.
At any point in time, had the victim's NDW profile been changed in relation to this murder?
Yes, it was changed to, you know those, you can't download a car ads? It was changed to text that looked a lot like one of those that said something about, like, she was a helper, but she didn't help enough.
Do you know how these changes were made?
Fÿrr's MDW changed his profile picture.
Was Jilly's missing property ever recovered?
Yes. Jilly's property, her ID was found in a trash can in the cemetery that had Fyrr's gun and Fyrr's ID in it. There was also her MDW and her radio were found in a different trash can that had 2 hunting dogs in a note saying something like, "Will you find all 6?" over and over again. That trash can also had some blood on it.
The blood, did that come back to anybody specific?
I came back to Fÿrr Phosphøphÿllite.
And do you know the specific date and preferably time that this trash can outside of Infinity Apartment and the property within, as well as the blood, was found?
I don't know the time off the top of my head, but I know it was on the 19th.
Now,
Specifically, sorry.
that's okay. There were animal parts used in accordance with Stacy Rex murder.
Yeah.
Were there animal parts used in Jilly's murder?
Yeah, there were some coyote heads on the scene.
Describe the use of those coyote heads.
So there was some rebar that was impaled through her arms, and there were coyote heads there, and there was also a heart from it. I think it was a rabbit, but I would have to check. That was suspended by fish hooks in the middle of her chest. It kind of looked like one of those, the Sacred Heart statues. It kind of looked like that. It's just a floating heart in the middle of a chest.
And was there anything on scene of Jilly's murder to indicate there were other individuals aside from Jilly on that scene?
Yeah, there were footprints and outlines of a cooler box.
These footprints, could you describe them?
Sorry, hold on. Outlines of what?
Cooler box, like a cooler, like a.
Okay. All right, please continue.
I'll just repeat for the sake of the record and our judges. Could you describe these footprints for the court?
They were high heels, like pieces, like the foot part and then the heel part.
How is it that you know that these were high heels?
Footprints were in 2 pieces.
Now, was there any evidence in connection to the death of Jilly Markovic, which was not found on scene, other than those that you've already mentioned?
I think her DNA was on the weapons that were found in the cemetery on a prior date from the IDs. So there were weapons found in the cemetery that came back to Jilly, back to Kai, and back to Stacy. And there were also gloves and I think a note in that trash can as well. The weapon is an axe, a knife, and a hammer.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the murder of Kai Otani. Miss Ashley, are you aware of the murder of Kai Otani, which occurred on April 12th, 2025 at approximately midnight Eastern?
Yes.
Are you aware of how police were informed of Kai Otani's murder?
There was a 911 text from Kai Otani's phone. It was like something about "will die," "will my head is hurting," something like that.
Did this share any similarities to the previous text 911 received in relations to these murders?
It was the same kind of repetitive language, random capitalization, erratic tone.
And the phone which sent this 911 text, are you aware of who it belonged to?
It was Kai's phone.
Was there any other activity from Kai Otani's phone after his death aside from this text to 911?
There were postmortem texts to an officer's to Wesley Pines' burner, and there was also a twinsta of his body, and it was like, "I didn't deserve to die," I think was the caption.
And at any point, similar to the previous victims, had his MDW profile been changed in relation to this murder?
Yeah, it was changed to the same "you wouldn't steal a car" font, being like calms my urges, the beats less, and something like that.
Do you know how these changes were made?
Fÿrr's MDW made these changes.
What was the condition of Kayotani's body upon its discovery?
Heavily mutilated, partially dismembered. He'd been axed in the back and the brain. His face was stitched up. He had a pitchfork in his hand that had Jilly Markovic's heart on it. And animal parts were strewn about.
Can you describe the condition of Jilly Markovic's heart?
It was cold. It was condensating. Like it had been kept in a freezer or a fridge.
Was there anything of note left on Kayotani's person?
Jilly Markovic's phone was left on his person.
Was there anything missing from Kayotani's person?
His phone and his driver's license were missing.
Can you describe which are on?
Sorry?
I'm just withdrawing the question. I'm moving on to the next one. Was there any evidence on Kayotani's murder scene to suggest another individual had been on that scene other than Kayotani?
His organs were left in a pool next to his body. There were some shoe prints. I don't know specifically what type. I think these were a little hard to read. And there was also a blood trail.
Now, you mentioned that animal parts were used in Kayotani's murder. Can you describe their use here on the scene?
Yes, there were 3 deer heads in each of the cardinal directions. There was also the upper half of a deer staring at him. And with that and the pitchfork, it was pretty clear they were trying to imitate American Gothic, you know, with like the farmer and his wife and the pitchfork and all that.
And was there any evidence in connection to the death of Kayotani found after his murder scene had been investigated?
Yeah, 2 different occasions on the cemetery, once on 419, once on 420. We found on the first occasion gloves, an axe, hammer, knife, the same one that had Jilly's blood on them, had his blood on them. And the second time, his ID was found with Fyrr's ID, Jilly's ID, and Amber's ID, as well as Fyrr's gun.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. We're going to move on to Amber Harper now. Are you aware of the murder of Amber Harper, which occurred on April 16th, 2025 at approximately 9 p.m. Eastern?
Yes.
Are you aware of how police were informed of Amber Harper's murder?
There was a text from her phone, something about she brought pretty flowers and a pinned location.
Was there any other activity from Amber Harper's phone after her death, aside from the 911 informing you of the location of her body?
There were texts to the people in the Bloom and Harvest group chat. Something like, "I'm sorry she has it. I just," the same things we'd seen before. There were Twinstas, and there was also a text to the same burner that Pines owned. Multiple texts to the same burner that Pines owned. Additionally, her phone was used to send a photo of Fÿrr, like a selfie of Fÿrr, along with the caption, "What sins am I trying to wash away?" And also the words John DeBean, and some stuff about like a pregnant cat that's really just gross, and they could read it themselves.
Question.
Hmm?
Can you repeat what you said? They sent a selfie of Fÿrr. What sins am I trying to wash away? And what was the second thing that they sent?
There was John DeBean, the John DeBean. It's a Dutch name.
Gotcha.
There was
Thank
also
you.
like
That's what I
some
missed.
stuff about pregnant cat. I don't know it verbatim, and it was honestly very gross.
And similar to the other victims, had her MDW profile been changed at any point in relation to this murder?
It was changed to a photo of her dead body, mutilated.
Do you know where this photo originated from?
I don't know where the photo originated from. It might have been on her phone because it was the background of her phone.
And do you know how these MDW changes were made?
Fÿrr's MDW.
Was there anything of note on Amber Harper's body?
Tony's phone was found on her body.
And was there anything missing from Amber's body?
Her phone and I think her driver's license as well.
Now, can you walk us through the condition of Amber Harper's body upon its discovery?
It was heavily mutilated. Either a wolf or a coyote, I am not really sure which, had been put in place of her head. Her stomach was protruding and she'd been turned into a matryoshka doll. Basically, there was a series of animals and each one was slightly smaller, and inside each slightly smaller animal was the next animal, like the old lady who swallowed a fly. It was a lot.
This surgery, shall we call it, were there any signs of the condition or ability of the person who performed this on Amber Harper's body?
It was pretty skillful. Like, it wasn't somebody who's never been around human anatomy. Like, they definitely had a grasp of what they were doing.
Was Amber's body located around anything specific?
It was near a pool.
Was there anything on the scene of Amber's death that indicated there was another individual besides herself?
There was an EMS syringe. There was some fake orange hair that matched a wig that we found later. That wig was in an updo style. There were her organs were in a pool. There were footprints on scene, and there were also cooler impressions.
Now, the animal parts which were found on the scene, can you describe the condition of these animal parts?
So the headless bodies were inside of her body, and then the heads were kind of like laid out in a trail almost leading to her.
The heads which were laid out in a trail, was there anything of note of these heads?
I think they were preserved and slightly cold.
And was there anything on the scene which could indicate how those animal parts had been stored?
There was a cooler mark.
And was there any evidence in connection to the death of Amber Harper found at this cemetery in which other victims' DNA was found?
So her ID was found along with Fÿrr's ID, Fÿrr's gun, Jilly's ID, and Kai's ID.
Thank you. We will move on to Robert Scott. Miss Smith, are you aware of the murder of Robert Scott, which occurred April 20th at approximately 1 a.m. Eastern? Was that a yes?
Sorry, that was a yes.
Are you aware of how police were informed of this murder?
We got a text from Robert Scott's phone. It was like, "Will you find her?"
Did this share any similarities with the previous text 911 had received?
The victim's phone, and it also had the same kind of repetitive language and kind of like the pounding motif, I think, was used, and that had been used in a few previous communications.
And was there any additional activity from Robert's phone after his death aside from this 911 text?
Texts were made to Pines' burner, and there was also a Twinsta, something why he didn't deserve to die, I think.
These texts from this phone to Pines' burner, did this person identify themselves as Sam?
Yeah, so the thing about when they sent these texts, every time they picked up a new victim's phone, they would just kind of continue the conversation like it had never left off. Like they weren't really acknowledging, oh hey, well once or twice Pent to be like, is this a new number? But like they weren't really acknowledging that it was a new number. They were just continuing the conversation on this newest phone. But they called themselves Sam on this phone, I believe.
Did they address the murders in this text message exchange at any point on any of these phones?
Yeah, once or twice they directed Wesley to the location where they'd left a body vaguely. They also occasionally asked him if he knew about a murder that they hadn't directly told him about, or knew like the location of a murder they hadn't directly told him about, because they were testing him to see if he was a cop. Like there was a lot of conversation about like how killing humans and animals helped alleviate the beat that animals weren't as good as humans.
Now, similar to the previous victims, had Robert's MDW profile been changed in relation to the murders at any point in time?
I don't think Roberts was changed.
And what was the condition of Robert's body upon its discovery?
It was brutalized. Like the other ones were mutilated, but there was like some kind of, you know, almost artistic sense to the mutilation. This was just pure rage. He'd obviously fought back. Wood from the pool deck was found under his fingernails. There were bruises on his arm. His limbs were severed, and he was pretty much mush. Like we had to scoop him into the body bag.
And was Robert's body located near anything specific?
I was right near a pool.
Was there anything of note found on Robert's body?
His body had Amber Harper's phone. It also had a note about Fÿrr. Fÿrr is learning Fÿrr and a whole bunch of other stuff.
This note, do you know what it is in relation to?
Sorry, Fÿrr is learning Fÿrr is a phrase that was used throughout the time Fÿrr was allegedly missing. Basically they would say Fÿrr is learning Fÿrr. They texted that from, like she texted that from her phone during this period. It was in relation to her.
Now, the murder of Robert, did this occur before or after Miss Fÿrr was allegedly kidnapped?
Oh, this was Robert's kidnapping was after Fÿrr was kidnapped. Sorry, Robert's murder was after, I think.
Was there anything missing from Robert's body?
His phone was missing, and so was his ID.
And was there any evidence to indicate there had been anyone on scene other than Robert?
There were some footprints with a long stride, bloody, and then there was a bloody pool nearby him, like the pool blood.
And was any evidence recovered in relation to Robert's murder other than the scene of the murder itself?
We found his phone later on Lucy Calloway, and we found his ID papers in Fÿrr's wallet.
Oh, you brought up Fÿrr having been allegedly kidnapped, so I would like to touch on that. Are you aware of report number 50716 in which a phone call by Elias Winchester was made to defendant Fÿrr? Could you repeat that for me, Ms. Smith?
Yes, I'm aware.
Do you know why Elias Winchester called Fÿrr?
Called her because a selfie of her was posted from Amber Harper's phone, and Amber Harper at that time was known to be a murder victim.
And just to clarify, is this before Fÿrr was allegedly kidnapped?
This was posted before Fÿrr was kidnapped, and it had a caption that seemed to be referencing an earlier post that Fÿrr had made on Twinsta.
Do you know the substance of this earlier Twinsta that Fÿrr had made?
It said rain to wash me away, and then I think it was like an hour, a couple hours. I'm not exactly sure on the time frame. It's in evidence. Later, there was this selfie that had not previously been posted that said rain to wash. Sorry, what sins am I trying to wash away?
Were there any more Twinstas in relation to this selfie uploaded on Amber Harper's phone?
Shortly after that selfie was posted from Amber Harper's phone, Fyrr's phone posted a Twinsta saying, "And burn me away."
Pausing for fire hydrant. Did Fÿrr state whether or not she made the post from her own account, which were in relation to the selfie?
Fyrr claimed that she did not make those posts. She said she had no knowledge of that selfie ever being taken and that she had not made the Twinsta posts.
And did you ever subpoena the contents of Fyrr's phone? Was that a yes, Ms. Smith?
Yes, sorry, that was a yes.
Were there any indications from this subpoena of the contents of her phone that the selfie originated from Fyrr's own phone?
There was no evidence in her gallery of this photo being taken.
And are you aware of what happened to Fyrr while Elias was on the phone with her?
While he was on the phone with her, Fyrr said, it was weird, so it stuck with me. She said, "They're telling me to put the phone down now." There had been no previous indication of distress. There had been no previous indication that anyone else was with her. He just started telling her, "Hey, I'm gonna come to you and make sure you're okay." And then suddenly from her, it was, they're telling me to put the phone down now.
Was there any additional activity from Amber Harper's phone after Fyrr claimed to have been kidnapped?
Yes, there was more texts to the burner that Wesley had, and there was also a GPS location in Vinewood, like a construction house, a house under construction that's up near the hospital.
And to clarify, the MDW changes of the first 4 victims, did these occur before or after Fyrr's alleged kidnapping?
Those occurred after.
Was anything of note found at the GPS location which was received from Amber's phone?
Fyrr's blood was on scene. It was kind of like strewn about the place.
And for additional clarity, did this alleged kidnapping take place before or after the trash can, which contained Jilly Markovich's property and Fyrr's DNA was found?
This took place after that was found.
Is there any evidence in connection to Fyrr's kidnapping found at the cemetery?
ID was found and her phone was found. This was from the ping from Amber Harper's phone. The house ping might have been from Fyrr's. It was one or the other.
Now,
I said it's a lot of information.
That's okay. Have you received any indication or statement as far as who kidnapped Fyrr?
Fyrr claims that she was kidnapped by her brother, Fÿrr Phosphøphÿllite. I even had her spell it out for me. There is no record whatsoever of this individual having existed at any point in the state under that name or under any spelling variations of that name with or without the accented letters.
Are you aware of any other interactions between Fyrr and her alleged brother before or after this kidnapping?
So after this kidnapping, there were some text messages allegedly back and forth between him and Fyrr, including one where Fyrr used the wrong phone and texted the message that was supposed to be from the alleged brother's phone using her phone. And then
Your
they quickly switched burners.
Yeah, I would objecting to that being speculation.
I can rebut.
Go ahead.
We quite literally have in evidence, which I was about to ask you to bring up onto the monitor, an image in the main called text exchange between Fÿrr and brother, in which this is very much the case. I feel that this is speculative at this point because we have evidence of this. And if you would not mind popping that up there on that beautiful poster, thank you.
This one.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Someone read out what it says. For me, please. I can't see it.
Okay, so the objection on the floor is speculation. Speculation specifically is an objection to a question that asks a witness to speculate. In this case, no question was posed to the officer that required the officer to speculate. It sounds like the officer, based on their investigation or whatever has turned up, that it is the officer's opinion that it was made from Fyrr's phone. So this wouldn't be speculation. This is incorrect. Defense is more than welcome to cross-examine the officer as to this assertion, but this wouldn't be a speculation objection. So overruled.
Ms. Smith, could you kindly read out those text messages for the court?
Yeah, so this burner phone texted Fÿrr over soon. Fÿrr replied, please stop. And then Fÿrr replied, will stop soon, almost over. You art will live, will be gone soon. And then a little bit later, the burner phone said, you will be caught. I will be, sorry, this one is really hard to read. I will be free and gone.
Now,
See in the subpoena there that that third text message is originating from Fyrr's phone.
the text message in which you are implying was a mistake by Fÿrr. Does this share a commonality with any other text messages within this investigation?
Yeah, there was a lot of texting from burner phones to Fÿrr about how this person was going to frame her for all these murders, and then he was going to disappear from the state forever, and he would be gone, and she would be paying for it. And this was very much along those lines. It was also along the lines of a conversation that was continued on a different burner phone, I think about half an hour later.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Then. Okay.
To move on to the murder of Paul Jones and Lucy Calloway. Are you aware of the murder of Paul Jones and Lucy Calloway, which took place April 25th, 2025 at approximately 11:30 p.m. Eastern? Was that a yes, Ms. Smith?
Yeah, yes.
Very briefly, I'm going to ask for a quick pause. All right, turned out to be nothing. When a police captain calls you, you know, sometimes it might be important or related to something going on, and then sometimes it's just, oh, I didn't realize that you were in a giant murder trial. But this case, nothing happened. Please continue.
Classic Ferraro. Oh, Ms. Smith, are you aware of how police were informed of the murder of Paul and Lucy?
There was a text from Fyrr's phone. It was like, will you find them? And then there was a bunch of different locations shared from the phone.
You said it was from Fyrr's phone. Was this her state given phone number?
Yes, her personal government registered phone.
Can you describe the condition of Paul and Lucy's body on the scene?
Showing up and gutted, emulating John DeBane's painting The Corpses of the Dead Brother. They were also both decapitated, and their organs were removed. Paul's organs were in the pool. Lucy's organs, except for her, there's no delicate way to say this, female sex organs were in the pool as well, I believe. Organs were missing, the sex organs.
Were their heads ever recovered?
Lucy's head was recovered at La Fuente Blanca. It was thrown through the window.
And how about Paul's head?
I'm unsure if that was recovered.
You said they were hung up. How were they hung up?
They were hung up like upside down with handmade rope.
Were their bodies left by anything specific?
They were by a pool, and they were also by 17 Matryoshka dolls that were filled with animal hearts and potentially eyeballs. I'm not really sure if those were painted on or animal. It wasn't clear.
Was there anything missing on Paul or Lucy's body?
Lucy's phone was missing. I think her ID was missing as well, and I think Paul's driver's license might have been missing.
And was there anything of note found on Paul or Lucy's body?
Yes, Robert Scott's phone was found on Lucy's body.
Now, the animal parts which you have stated were used in this scene, can you describe the condition of these animal parts?
They were slightly chilled, like they'd been transported in a cooler box.
And was there anything on scene to indicate how these animal parts might have been stored?
There were bloody outlines of cooler box, like I think there were multiple at various locations on the scene.
Was there anything on scene to indicate another person other than Paul or Lucy being on that scene?
There was yellow hair, there was blood, which matched to Fyrr's DNA. There was also 2 sets of footprints, but they had like the same stride pattern, even though they were slightly different sizes.
This yellow hair, did you confirm whether or not this DNA went to anybody specific?
I believe it was tested. To the best of my knowledge, it was tested and belonged to Fyrr.
And to clarify, you said that Fyrr's blood was also on scene? Any point did Fyrr indicate to you as to how her hair and blood were on the scene?
Yes. When we interrogated Fyrr, she stated that her brother forced her to help mutilate Paul and Lucy. She also stated that she was forced to kill Paul, and that she had been on the scene of this and also presumably Robert Scott's murder, as she said that she was very rarely apart from her brother during the time she was allegedly kidnapped.
It's supposed to be Fÿrr.
To the best of your knowledge, has Fyrr ever expressed an interest in the arts?
Yes. She talked about when she was in school, she was the more artistic one, and she was always very interested in art and things like that. She also mentioned to Micah Rain at one point that she was interested in art.
Did she ever mention to you any interest in hunting?
Yes. In addition to her many publicly available Twinsta posts about hunting, she told us that she grew up hunting. She was taught to make snares by her father, that she spends quite a bit of time out in nature doing that. Right.
You're okay. Now, we've spoken a bit about Fyrr's home life and her originating from North Carolina. And this interrogation that you speak of, did Fyrr ever speak about her involvement in any careers?
When she was back home, she used to be a mortician. It was a family-owned business on the Black River. She said that she worked there. At first, when she was younger, it was in more administrative capacity. But then, as she grew older, they made her work more and more hands-on in the mortuary itself. She stated that they used to stitch eyelids and also expressions into people's faces at this mortuary. She also stated that she has done reconstruction work to a degree, or at least assisted with reconstruction work, and that her skill level was such that with just a little bit more training, she could basically run her own mortuary.
Smith, we're going to move on to the incident in which Fÿrr was located after her alleged kidnapping. Smith, are you aware of the incident in which Fÿrr was found on April 26, 2025 at approximately 8:30 p.m. Eastern? Could you repeat that for us?
Yes, I am aware.
Where was Fÿrr located?
She was found in the same kind of in construction site that her blood had been found in previously.
Was there any evidence on the scene which could be connected to the previous murders?
Yeah, there was a knife, a hammer, and an axe, which had blood coming back to Paul Jones, Lucy Calloway, and there was Fyrr's DNA. I'm not sure if it was her blood DNA or other DNA. There were doxycycline syringes, which are medical supplies. There was Lucy Calloway's mobile phone. Robert Scott's ID papers were in her wallet. Lucy Calloway's ID papers and driving license, as well as Paul Jones's driving license, were found on the scene near her body.
You spoke about the use of victims' phones to contact loved ones, 911, and to make twinstas. Were there any fingerprints on Lucy Calloway's phone?
Lucy Calloway's phone was wiped clean.
Now, Fÿrr, having alleged to be one of the victims and having her own phone used, were there any fingerprints on Fyrr's phone?
Yes, there were fingerprints on Fyrr's phone. They only came back to Fyrr.
Had her phone not been wiped clean?
It was not wiped clean, no.
Was there any other evidence on scene which had been tampered or cleaned?
There was a broken syringe. Nothing else really seemed cleaned. Like, there were bloody weapons just kind of laying there.
Now, the weapons which were found on scene, could you specify if any DNA was found, whose DNA?
Yes, DNA on the weapons came back to Paul Jones, Lucy Calloway, and Fÿrr Phosphøphylite.
Did Fÿrr have anything of note on her person?
Robert Scott's ID was in her wallet. Not sure what else she had in her direct possession, but it will be documented. Phones were on her person as well. They were either on her person or directly near her, one of the two.
And Fÿrr, could you describe the condition she was found in?
She had some shallow cuts. They were later determined to be self-inflicted. Some of them had been sewn back up in a way that suggested she had done the sewing herself. But she was unconscious at the time that we found her.
Was she restrained?
I don't believe so.
The location in which she was found, to the best of your knowledge, did the police have to force entry?
No, it was an open construction site.
Was Fÿrr ever transported after having been found?
Her EMT, and we documented her hair color and her shoes there.
And upon waking up in the hospital, was Fÿrr ever questioned or interrogated?
Yes, we had a interrogation with her the night she woke up at Sandy, the sheriff's department.
Anything of particular note within this interrogation that you have not yet mentioned here?
I'm sure there was a lot. So in this interrogation in specific, she told us a story about a kitten, and she claimed that like she had taken the blame for this kitten mutilation, and then later Buzzbros got an article saying the opposite, like that her brother had always been blamed, and I don't know, it was odd.
Now, you described them, the animals which had animals inside of them. Could you remind me of how you described them?
It was like a matryoshka doll, but in texts, they were described by Fÿrr as she was pregnant with animals.
This theme of pregnancy, did this come up at all in the interrogation when she was questioned?
Yeah, her sister had been pregnant and had died, been murdered. Second interrogation, Fÿrr told me that she didn't ask for permission to get pregnant. That her sister didn't ask for permission to get pregnant.
Do you know the circumstances of the death of your sister?
She was murdered. She was found mutilated in the family mortuary.
Do you have any indication as to who murdered her sister?
We don't have solid evidence, but all signs seem to point to Fÿrr being the one that did that, including the fact that she mentioned a trip back home around the time that murder occurred.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. I am now going to move on to the attack on Micah Rain. Are you aware of the attack on Micah Rain, which occurred on May 3rd, 2025?
I'm aware.
And what was the extent of your involvement in this incident?
I was in the room with Wesley when he got a phone call, and Micah Rain was on speaker on that phone call, as well as an individual claiming to be Sam. I responded to the actual Sisyphus Theater as well.
And for clarification, this person who identified themselves as Sam, had they had any contact with officers in any other regard?
It was the same person that had been using burners pretty much throughout this case. I'd also had a previous phone call with them on a different phone. I do not remember. I think it was on Fyrr's phone. Yes, Fÿrr called me from her phone using the same voice changer as and the same exact pattern of speech as was done in this locker room conversation. Very distinct pattern of speech and a very distinct voice changer.
And were there any other instances of individuals using voice changers contacting the police?
Yeah, victims and the police. They called Wesley, they called Bree, called somebody else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Like, been documented who. Oh yes, they also called Etta Hawthorne, from two different burner phones, asking her the same question, had her hearts. The first time they asked her, it was just general taunting. They asked Kiki Pendragon the same question from the same burner. And then the second time was when Brutus was being mutilated. Brutus the dog, they called Etta, and they were asking her the same question again, heads or hearts.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. No further questions for this witness.
All right. Does the defense have a cross-examination for Officer Smith?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. Where's that goddamn podium? Right. All right, got it, got it. Thank you, thank you. Is the microphone working? Am I talking into that?
Yep, we can hear you.
Thank you. Officer Smith. Do you recall the date that Fÿrr Photosynthesis, I apologize, I have audio like Braille text to speech here. I'm gonna get my client's name wrong a bunch. Fyrr's, the date that Fÿrr went missing to the date that Fÿrr was found?
She went missing on the 20th. I know we found her about a week later, but I do not know the exact date.
The Stacy wrecked incident where messages were going to them from Fyrr's phone. It's not occurred during the time period that Fÿrr was missing and kidnapped?
Sorry.
Sorry, Doris Daisy Drews.
Can you just repeat that question with the right victim's name, please?
So, Doris Daisy Drews, she'd explained, and as you saw in your investigation, messages came from Fyrr's phone to her fiance. Did these messages come through during the period of time that Fÿrr has been missing and kidnapped?
I'm going to object at this point to scope. At no point did the state bring up the incident involving Doris Daisy Drew.
Buttle? The time that Fÿrr had been missing, it was brought up multiple times during their line of questioning, especially with the phone use and Fyrr's text messages. So this is kind of imperative information to have on the record that these texts were coming while they were missing and could have been incapacitated, kidnapped. It is not clear what happened during that time.
Let me consult with the panel.
Wasn't Doris the wasn't
Yeah, that
Doris
does
Drews
happen,
the first
Billy.
person? That was the
Yeah.
first witness.
Yeah.
That was the first witness.
Yeah, you're good. That was a lot of. It was a lot of questions. Yeah, no, you're
Judy.
good. You're good.
Sure.
Yeah, same. Me too. Well, not witness. No, I don't have that many, but I've got like 4 pages of questions just from this witness. I think this one could go either way. While they didn't directly ask Ashley Smith about Doris Daisy Drews, that would make it out of scope. But at the same time, they did bring up Fyrr's kidnapping and communications from her phone while she was kidnapped, or communications while she was kidnapped. So at the same time, it could be either or for me. Kind of want to hear the answer, which is where I'd probably let it slide because I'm curious the argument they're trying to bring up.
Scope's open. They've spoken so much about Fÿrr and her alleged kidnapping, communications that happened, seeking the timeline as to when this like text messages that were sent to Daisy Drews, asking if that happened while she was allegedly kidnapped. Yeah, that's within scope. it's up to you because you got one saying no, one saying what say you, Joy?
All right. The panel, or rather my co-panelists, are split on whether this is within or without scope. On the one hand, yeah, we haven't heard any testimony from Officer Smith about Miss Drew. However, we did hear lots of testimony about Fÿrr being kidnapped. Were this a mainland courtroom, I believe a scope objection would probably be sustained on this one, specifically because whilst the context of Fyrr's kidnapping would be within the scope of argument here, just merely running headfirst and asking, well, was Drew texted while she was kidnapped? Probably not going to fly. Probably would need to set up some additional foundation leading into it. In this particular case, so that I'm not here for 5 years, I'm just going to let this one slide. I could force you to ask, 2 or 3 foundational questions to build up to and kind of, open up the scope into asking about all that. But I don't want to be here for 5 years. Officer Smith doesn't want to be here for 5 years. At some point, Franklin would have to go and buy cat food for Gus. Let's not belabor the point here. So I'm going to go ahead and overrule the scope objection.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Officer Smith, would you like me to re-ask the question?
Please.
So, according to your investigation, during the time period that Fÿrr was declared missing, does not correlate with the time that messages were sent from Fyrr's phone in the Daisy Drews incident.
Let's rephrase that.
During the time period that Fÿrr was missing, does this not fall in the timeline of where messages were sent directly from her phone to Daisy Drews, or Daisy Drews' fiance, whatever?
I don't believe Fyrr's phone was used to contact Daisy Drews' fiance.
In your investigation, the MO of the killer, they always will use the phone from the prior victim to either contact or put on the body of the next victim. Is that correct?
Yes.
In the timeline of
most of the time. There were a few exceptions.
In the timeline of events, was Fÿrr not taken prior to the Daisy Drews incident?
Fÿrr was taken prior to that incident, yes.
Then Fyrr's phone being used to contact the victim would fall in the MO of the Hills Butcher, correct?
The phone that was used also fell in the MO of the Hills Butcher.
Now, in regards to what you were discussing in Jillian Markovitz's death scene, find nothing else on the scene of that crime that would point to any other individual being there at the time of that death.
Markovitz?
I could trim it down for you if you like. Was there any blood of any other individual found on the scene of that crime?
Not sure. Scene of Jilly's crime? I don't know.
Your Honor, would this be a situation where we would allow to reference her notes or the NDW for this particular question?
Yes. Yes. You're gonna have to tell me what the report number is, though.
The report number is... Oh, I gotta minimize.
49081.
Yes, that would be it.
Okay. And what are we referencing here?
There are 2 distinct blood samples found on the scene. One, obviously, from the victim, Jillian Markovich. And there is a second blood sample for a Sydney Martin.
Oh, that blood wasn't found on scene. That blood was found, okay, so this was down on Great Ocean Highway. Hold on. That blood was found up on, it was, I'd say half a mile, maybe a little bit more from the scene. The only reason it was deemed even slightly relevant of inclusion was because that road had a little bit of an overlook, potentially. It was not on the actual scene.
What was the decision to include it in the report for being on the scene?
It wasn't on the scene. It was found on Banham Canyon. It was included only because Banham Canyon is one of the next nearest roads to Great Ocean. Not on the scene.
And why were you investigating like over by that road in regards to this?
Because geographically it's above and you could potentially look for cop lights and things like that on Great Ocean, but it wasn't really close enough to have an actual view of what was going on. Of casting a wide net.
In regards to Jilly's ID being found along with the other IDs, when was that found again?
So Jilly's ID was found, I think that was found on 420 in the trash can.
And does that correspond with the day that Fÿrr also went missing?
Yes, that was the day that Fÿrr went missing.
In regards to all of the scenes of the deceased individuals, in this case, were there any signs of struggle?
Some of them.
Be advised, if anyone needs any ice packs or anything, there's a doctor in the lobby.
There was
so
clearly
come out
a
here
sign
and
of
see.
struggle in Robert Scott, but he was off pattern in a lot of other ways as well.
And with Robert Scott, do you recollect that there was a note found on the victim's body? What that note said?
Something like Fÿrr will learn Fÿrr and a bunch of other things along that line.
In your experience as an officer, do you typically find that criminals would leave notes with their own name on them behind at the scene?
City, yes. City, they twinsta and 311 after they do this shit. So yeah, quite often criminals will link themselves to murders or other crimes intentionally. I mean, even just recently we had someone directly telling us that they did a murder. So yes, in this city.
Goddamn flocks. Okay. Now, in regard to any of the scenes, was there ever an eyewitness who could place Fÿrr at the scene at any of these crimes?
Yeah.
What scene?
Placed her on scene.
Her own scene?
Yes.
I mean, in regards to the scenes of the death of any other individuals aside from Fyr's own scene of being a victim.
I mean, Fÿrr told us herself that she was at Lucy Calloway and Paul Jones's murder and that she murdered Paul Jones.
Were there ever any murder weapons discovered on Fyr's possession?
There were 3 weapons with victim's blood found in her constructed possession in the same room of the house she was in.
Now, that is the case where you have documented that you believe all her wounds to be self-inflicted.
Yeah, that's what the medical report said.
But I'm listening to the audio of my questions here. the date of where the MDW messages were sent from Fyrr's MDW, was that during the time period that Fyrr had been missing?
When the profile pictures were changed?
Yes, for the victims.
That was during the time that Fyrr was allegedly kidnapped / missing.
In regards to the questioning of Micah Rain, was Micah questioned immediately after getting out of surgery?
Bitch, I will kick your chair.
No, because she was in ICU.
Dare you?
When Micah was questioned, they appeared to have a fully clear and coherent memory of the events of her attack.
When I questioned Micah, she was clearly still very shooken up and traumatized by everything that had happened. A lot of details were fuzzy, as is common in cases of traumatic events. She had just got out of the hospital when I spoke to her.
Propofol in your system affect your coherency when being questioned?
Doctor.
Now, in your interrogations with Fyrr, you had openly admitted to recently seeing her brother. Is that correct?
Yeah. She stated that she had been with her brother, who she conveniently could give us no identifying details or state ID or government name of.
So, if her brother was in the state and he was under an alias, as you had reported, did you have a list of aliases that you would be checking for her brother?
There were no aliases that she could provide at the time that we asked. She did not know. She stated that she did not know any names that he was going by other than potentially Sam, and despite the fact that she also stated that she saw him talking to multiple people. She also gave us his name and the spelling of his name and the special character used in his name, and we were checking that, and there is no one by that name that was registered in the state of Los Santos as of 2 days ago. I have not checked today, but I'm pretty sure that would remain the same.
You've gotten a passport under any name, essentially, that you just didn't happen to have checked. Is that correct?
I have no idea how the passport system works. Ask a passport official.
During the interrogation, did you find Fyrr to be cooperative?
No, she was clearly hiding things. Like, she was clearly not telling us the full truth.
But she did tell you that she had been forced under duress to assist her brother in the Lucy Calloway murder. Is that correct?
So, she claimed that she had been with her brother for pretty much the whole time that she was gone, and that encompassed 3 different murders. She admitted under direct questioning to being involved with both Lucy Calloway and Paul Jones, also admitted to helping mutilate them and to murdering Paul Jones. So supposedly with her brother at the time that Micah Rain was attacked. So Daisy Drews was attacked, not Micah Rain. My mistake.
When questioning Micah Rain, Micah Rain had cited she had heard multiple voices when she was being attacked.
That would be because she was on speakerphone. So Fyrr and her Sam guys had put the phone on speakerphone and was talking to myself and Officer Pines over the speakerphone. I took some notes at the time, and things were said about how the father had died of cancer, which is something that Fyrr's father died of, and how that's not a very artistic death.
During interrogation, during interrogation, do you recall what Fyrr's responses were to you inquiring if she committed the art scenes / murders?
She seemed to have a pretty visceral reaction to some of them, but not in like a aversion way, more in a. She started talking about how she had migraines and how her head pounded sometimes. She seemed a little bit fascinated by some of the victim photos we put up. Said that if she was murdering people, it would be very artistic. That wasn't the exact quote, but it was something like she is more artistic than her brother ever was.
Recall her saying murder is not my forte?
I don't. There was a lot of conversation.
Information that Fyrr provided during her interrogations ever followed up on?
Yes, we tried to find this supposed brother figure. We found absolutely no evidence of him occurring. We did what we could to look into the North Carolina stuff, but that being so far out of the state and any statute of the state, there wasn't much follow-up that was available other than, like I said previously, she told us a story, and she told it twice, about how when she was 13 years old, she had a kitten, and her brother murdered and mutilated the kitten. A little bit later, there was an article that was sent to Buzz Bros from the same newspaper that sent us an article about her family being murdered and she being the last one left alive, that said that she had never been blamed for that kid mutilation and that she had always been clear of guilt.
Discussing this with Fyrr in the interrogation room, did she ever show any signs of violent or aggravated reactions?
Yes.
Or did she remain calm?
She got very aggravated and very agitated at multiple times throughout the second interrogation. When we were being a little bit less cordial with her, she started slipping into the same pattern of speech that we have heard on the phone from Sam at multiple points. She also, like I said, told me in a very aggravated tone that her sister had not asked her permission to get pregnant.
I mean more in signs, but like, did she stay relatively still, calm the whole time, or did she get frustrated and move around and start lashing out?
She multiple times had to take a break during the second interrogation because her head was starting to hurt.
So would that be a no for agitated responses?
Call that agitated. Oh, she also got. No, I don't actually want to talk about that in open court.
Good.
Never mind.
Moment to refer with my co-counsel, Your Honor.
All right.
We have a case law for that. We had something because they said this in the block murders. One block killed Lambda. Which block was it who murdered Lambda? No? No? I mean, I'm thinking right next to you. Yeah, no. arrest may not be asserted as an affirmative defense to any charge of murder. We would have that case holding. So we gotta do is just reference that and say, "Yep, we're not stemming from, we're not gonna go away from that. That's a holding that the courts have already made. We're keeping to that holding." Yeah, the Stevie Butch block. It was when the Blotton Army dog track murdered Justice Lambda, and one of them said, who was it? Was it Baby Block? Baby Block was saying, actually no, Butch Block was saying, but Baby Block made me do it.
Okay.
Or something along those lines.
All right, Miss Thorns, do you have some questions for Officer Smith?
Do? Officer Smith, are you a linguistics expert?
I am very experienced with linguistics when it comes to forensics.
You come by these expertise.
Sorry.
Did you
Sure
come
to
by
keep
these
your mouth
expertise?
open, Miss Ophelia.
Sorry. Okay.
Did I come
So-
by these expertise because I
Yes.
have over 7 years as a homicide detective, including multiple serial killer cases.
So you have no qualifications in linguistics?
Of well over 7 years as a homicide detective with a specialty in serial killers.
Responsive. Do you have any linguistics qualifications?
Objection. We're badgering at this point. The witness has answered the question. Ophelia feels that she does not like the answer. It does not mean it's not an answer.
Answer the question.
Can't plead the fifth.
I'm gonna overrule that objection. She has answered the question. Now, whether 7 years as a homicide is actually linguistic qualifications, that's for the court to decide. But as far as Officer Smith is concerned, she believes that 7 years as a homicide detective with a specialty in serial killers constitutes qualifications in linguistics. But again, ultimately, that's going to be a fact for me to decide. So we don't really need to belabor the point here.
You mentioned that we should ask a passport officer or official about passport law, how they work. Did you seek out a passport official to ask them whether someone could get a passport under an alias?
If you find me one, I'll ask him.
You seek one out.
I don't think the passport officials really check their texts or emails or Twinstas very often. It's not readily available for that kind of inquiry.
No, you didn't reach out. What to say?
I'm going to, again, object to badgering. The answers the witness has given have obviously implied that she did not reach out to whomever a passport expert may be in the city.
Yeah, I'm going to sustain that one. It's pretty self-evident the answer to that question is no.
You've mentioned you had interviews and interrogations with Fÿrr. Have interviews or interrogations with other individuals?
In general.
More specific. Did you have interviews or interrogations in police stations with other individuals?
Can you repeat that? You kind of missed a word there.
Did you have interrogations with other individuals?
I did a lot of people.
Name some of those people.
I'm going to object at relevance to save the court's time here. I believe what Ms. Smith is getting at here is that this question is not specific as to the murder, but it's just asking in a general sense if she has ever interrogated anybody. We
Gotcha.
ask that the counselor rephrase to be more specific.
Yeah, I'm not entirely. I see where you're coming at with this one. I do think you need to be a little more specific with this question. Like, are you referring to?
More specific.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you interview or interrogate anyone else you may have believed to have been a suspect?
Suspect is a strong word. We did interrogate 2 persons of interest.
Those interrogations in evidence on the docket?
I believe one of them is. The other one, there were some corruption issues with the recording.
If there's some of that missing, are there other reports missing from the docket?
No.
Sure of that?
We did everything that we could within the window that we had to provide as much information as physically possible in this case.
I will pass over to my co-counsel now.
Bird,
Yeah.
I think you're struggling talking.
You need to take a throat pill.
Tap,
Hold up.
tap that mic a few times. There you go. You got it.
You lost the use of your eyes, Bird. Don't lose your mouth too. You need that to be an attorney. Sort of. You sort of need that to be an attorney. You could use like hand signs or something.
Is that any better?
Yep.
Yeah, eyes not working good, voice not working good. Sorry. So in your 7 years expertise with serial killers and your experience with their linguistics, would it not be uncommon for a family member or a close friend or someone associated with them to try to speak back with them in a way that would resonate with them, in a lingo that they would understand when pleading with them?
Oh, that's not really common. It's often, if you imitate somebody else's pattern of speech, especially when they have a deranged or unusual pattern of speech, it's usually seen as mocking rather than sympathetic.
Well, could it not also be considered mirroring for
No.
somebody as a way to resonate with them?
Usually, like, especially in the case of something in text, that mirroring is very, very uncommon. It would be more common kind of like a verbal environment than a text-based environment.
I think that's all you've been up there long enough. That is all I really have for you, Officer Smith. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. We're done with our questioning with this officer.
All right. Franklin, do you have a redirect based on that cross, or?
A single redirect, Your Honor. Ms. Smith, you brought up in your testimony against Bird and Ophelia that Fÿrr claims she had migraines with an interrogation. Is there any evidence in this investigation which would indicate the murderer suspect having a similar issue?
Yeah, they also talked about their head pounding, beating, the only way to stop that being murder. A lot of things about my head hurts or head hurt, make it stop. That was a very common motif throughout this investigation.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thanks all the time.
And defense, do you have a recross based on that singular question?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then, Officer Smith, you may finally step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Probably the longest questioning we've had of a singular witness. That was almost an hour.
That's a new record, yeah.
Oh my god.
You're welcome. Speaking of that, Your Honor, can I ask for like maybe a 5 to 10 minute recess for anybody who might need to use the bathroom, get food, etc.?
Or let's all take 5.
I'd love to stretch my legs. Alright, I'm gonna take a break.
Right,
Anyone who
5.
leaves is gonna have to be first before they return.
Let's take a nice solid 5, and we'll reconvene at
As much as I would love to
33.
Do we still have food in one of the illusions outside?
We should, but it's gonna be going bad soon. So if you need it, grab it now and yeah, eat it quick.
Alright, from Charlie 22, I'm gonna run outside and grab some food for myself. Does anybody else need anything?
Can you grab some for the inmate? Also, in case it does end up going bad, maybe a couple of us might just go up to. I know there's a thing in front of the courthouse. Potentially even go up to Cluck and Bell if there is enough time. 133, can you go with
the
her?
councilors start arguing with each other over
Just in case if there is
objections.
no more food.
Defense witnesses, though, I'm not really sure how long the defense witnesses are going to take. They could be fairly quick. They could be fairly substantial. I don't really know what defense is planning on doing with them.
Did you already depose medical? Let it go.
No, I believe that's what Patrick January is here.
10-9.
Medical usually doesn't take that long.
Can you go with 122 in case there is no more food in the back of the illusion, just in case you need to go pick some up?
I've got 3 meals, 1 for myself, and I have 2 extra. They are about to go bad, so whoever's the most hungry will receive them.
10 for, would the two of you be able to go out and grab some from Cluck and Bell or the Painted Moon? I believe that's out front of the courthouse.
Yeah, from.
Could we,
Do you need food?
I still had some.
Officer, could we use the
Do you need any food or are you good?
jury room real quick?
Yeah.
Me and my co-counsel.
I got food before I came in,
This
so I
room.
thought I'd check
I
on you.
believe
hope you like
what's
pork
behind me.
sandwiches.
Allowed to give them access to the jury room, the attorneys.
Hey, you're good. I'm just gonna be upstairs because I didn't know where to stand and I came in a little.
Yeah,
If
they
there's no one
really
else
let us
using
use
it,
it.
then yes, go ahead.
It's just a loud courtroom right now.
Hi, Kara.
I'm going to see if any. Tim, do you need food?
Oh, everyone here.
If you can grab me
except
maybe
for you.
one.
when am I putting a crown on that head?
Okay. Do you want to take one of these meals off of me that are about to go bad?
I have one that's about to go bad on me right now. It'd need to be a bit of a fresher one for later time.
Okay. Let me see if I can salvage any of this to any of the judges, and then I'll go out and check for food.
Sounds good.
Hello, Your Honors. Are any of you super hungry?
Multiple witnesses in. I think I'm guilty.
Sure, you know what, why not?
How are you feeling? How are you feeling about it?
Have some almost going bad food. Thank you so much.
So welcome.
Treasure this almost gone bad food.
Perfect. Anna, do you
Oh.
need food?
Yeah.
I've got one meal on me that's about to go bad, so I might just eat that one to start with.
All right.
guy in the one
Do you want to run outside with me to the food truck?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Charlie 22 and Charlie 33 are gonna run outside to the food truck.
Sorry.
Damn.
just gonna be you.
Why will you give me this?
Do we got anyone to kind of take over the front door of this city hall?
Hello. Charlie
do you guys
33
gotta
needs
leave?
to take a nap.
I am leaving
Right.
soon enough. And Johan could use more than just himself at the front door.
Sierra 33, I can do it.